Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Vienna Economic Talks, Prishtina meeting 2023, organized by Vienna Economic Forum under the patronage of His Excellency Prime Minister of Republic of Kosovo, Mr. Albin Kurti. My name is Astrit and I am a co-founder and executive director of Kosovo Manufacturing Club. It's my honor and privilege to moderate the opening session of this conference, which is titled Regional Cooperation in Fragmented Environment. I need to highlight the excellent cooperation between the Vienna Economic Forum and the government of Republic of Kosovo. I need to mention that Vienna Economic Forum is the first international organization that Kosovo entered since it declared independence. And this cooperation has grown even stronger, and as a result we have this conference today where we'll have many distinguished guests and we will have, let's say, a stimulating discussion. Vienna Economic Forum was established in 2004, and since the beginning, the main objective was to promote regional cooperation. Also, it did a great job in promoting investment in the regions from Adriatic to the Black Sea. On the other side, Kosovo has gone a tremendous transformation from the war-torn country to a modern state with democratic and stable institutions. But today, Kosovo is on the crossroad in terms of political future. The question is, are we going to have a fragmented Kosovo that will contribute to the fragmented region, or we'll have Kosovo with unified institution that will contribute to the unified region? In terms of the economy, we have a clear objective to establish a market-oriented economy. And since the independence, we managed to substitute two very important words. In the past, the development of Kosovo relied on donations and grants. Today, Kosovo is negotiating development loans and is attracting foreign direct investment. And this is a clear sign that our economy is very dynamic and is becoming more competitive in the region. Today I'm honored to present three distinguished speakers that will open the conference. I will start first with Ambassador Dr. Elena KIRTCHEVA, a founding member of the board and Secretary-General of Vienna Economic Forum. She has a very extensive diplomatic career serving for Bulgaria, serving in 4 different countries. Apart from that, she is a distinguished law professor with specialization in a social law. This is just a short introduction of a very rich biography, but I have to mention one more thing. Elena is a beautiful name, which means shining light. And Ambassador Elena, with her hard work, dedication, and vision through Vienna Economic Forum, managed to present to the Western politicians, Western investors, that there is a shining light in the region of the Balkans. Your floor is, Dr. Ambassador.
Thank you very much. I have never been presented this way. Thank you very much, Mr. PANXHA, distinguished Prime Minister, and ladies and gentlemen, distinguished ministers and members and partners of Vienna Economic Forum. I'm very proud and privileged to be here today, and allow me to inform you that this is the second Prishtina meeting. In 2009, we have had here in Prishtina the first Prishtina meeting, a very short time after the independence of Kosovo. And now thinking 15 years long about our good, excellent relationship with Kosovo and Kosovo government, I'm really proud that you take a part of my speech, that the first international organization Kosovo became member was Vienna Economic Forum. I'm looking here for Besim Bekaj, because I saw his name in the list. Besim Bekaj was the first person at this time, I think Chamber of Commerce president who came to Kosovo and became a member. To have Kosovo as member of Vienna Economic Forum, we have to thank to Dr. Busek. And I know if it's a good possibility to ask everybody to remember a short of Dr. Busek, who was the driving force, the spirit, a person with so very special feeling of the Balkan and for the Kosovo. He is the father of Vienna Economic Forum, and without the support of Dr. Busek, maybe the Vienna Economic Forum will be not in this time so good developed and so good known as at the beginning. Being the pro-European economic platform with headquarters in Vienna, Vienna Economic Forum is proud to always stay true to the goal of having good cooperation with the political decision makers from the region, and I may repeat, the excellent cooperation with the government of Kosovo is an example of that. Thank you again, dear Prime Minister Kurti, for our fruitful cooperation through the years, for your support and contribution to increasing the investment interest of many members of the Vienna Economic Forum who are here at the Kosovo market or are interested to come to the Kosovo market. Allow me to especially to greet Madam Vice President of the European Investment Bank, because it's also part of the Vienna Economic Forum to push and to think about and to help, if possible, with our good connection to the Kosovo market, to the Kosovo economic development. Today's Vienna Economic Talks Prishtina meeting 2023 has the aim to discuss Kosovo's economic development in the age of challenges and new opportunities. Again, to repeat Dr. Busek, he always mentioned that time of crisis is actually time of new opportunities. Let us think together about the importance of sustainable investment in times of crisis and fragmented environment. This is also the theme of our meeting today, about the ever-rising significance of innovation technology and especially of education as a precondition for a good economic development. Without meaning it's Kosovo or the region or the world. Everybody knows nowadays that the education is a precondition. The world and we from the Balkan or from the region, we need a better education as precondition for the good economic development. We must look ahead, having inside the consolidation of the region. This is the main goal of the Vienna Economic Forum, to have the consolidation, because the region needs Europe. But let me say, Europe needs the region also, but Europe needs a consolidated region. And this is the aim of the Vienna Economic Forum. And I want to thank again, to say again, thank you very much, Prime Minister, because your support and your effort to work for this consolidated region is very, very good and very visible. Today I'm honored to welcome representatives from 17 countries. We have different countries who are here. I have to thank to the group from Hungary, from Turkey, from Macedonia, from Albania. We have all our members from all directions, and they are here in Prishtina, and as I mentioned, to present themselves and to look about the new possibility to develop and explore their business here in Kosovo. To our Kosovo partners, I extend my deepest gratitude for the outstanding cooperation over the years. I'm looking forward to many more years of active international cooperation in different forms. And I want to underline different forms. We will have talks after or in framework of the conference, and I'm sure that there are different forms who give us a possibility to work together for the future. Now, to all of us, I wish a very constructive time with interesting contribution and exciting discussions. And let me say, after Prishtina meeting, I hope to see all of you in Vienna on November 13th of November for the jubilee, the 20th Vienna Economic Forum to be held in Vienna. Thank you very much again, and let us have a constructive meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador KIRTCHEVA. Now I'm pleased to introduce the President of Vienna Economic Forum, Mr. Viktor Jackovich, who was elected as a president this February, and I have to mention that is for the first time that non-Austrian has been elected as a president of Vienna Economic Forum. He has a distinguished career in US administration where he worked for more than 33 years, of which 13 years in the rank of ambassador. He was the first US ambassador in newly independent Bosnia and Herzegovina. And he lived and worked for a very long time in the region, and he established a good network of government officials, professionals, and I think he is of great value for the region. Mr. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Prime Minister Kurti, Ambassador KIRTCHEVA, and Astrit Panja, distinguished guests and ministers, as President of the Vienna Economic Forum, I welcome you today, and I certainly hope that the conference that we're going to have and the talks that we will have this morning under the rubric of regional cooperation in a fragmented environment, I certainly hope that those talks will result in long-standing, enduring relationships and linkages. This is co-sponsored by the Office of the Prime Minister in Kosovo and by the Vienna Economic Forum, and we are especially grateful to the Prime Minister that he is one of the region's patrons of the Vienna Economic Forum. I'm very grateful to the Prime Minister and his people and his staffers for the wonderful organization of these talks and for the great hospitality that they have extended to us here in Prishtina. Maybe it's appropriate that we are doing this during the week of your Day of Europe, European Day, on May 9th. The citizens of Kosovo, the Republic of Kosovo, are an integral part of Europe, and the Republic of Kosovo is an integral part of Europe. You've applied for full membership in the European Union back in December. If everything goes right in January, you will have a visa waiver system with many countries in Europe, most countries in Europe. And you were recently inducted into the Council of Europe. These are all very, very important landmarks in the affirmation of the statehood of the Republic of Kosovo and for the welfare of the citizens, all of the citizens of Kosovo. For the conference today, as Ambassador KIRTCHEVA said, we have gathered a group of people that are experts from the region, many countries from the region, from business people to government people, regional, international, many different countries, mainly from Austria. That is the home base of the Vienna Economic Forum. The Vienna Economic Forum is not a political organization. We are an international economic association. But what we have found, and what we firmly believe, is that politics and business are not separable. They are intertwined. They are always intertwined. And very often, business can precede politics. Business can set up the environment in which political solutions can be made more possible. Okay, it doesn't always happen that way, but it happens often enough that way that in the Vienna Economic Forum, we are convinced that we should continue our work as we have over the last 20 years. And it is an integral part of how we view our relationship, our excellent relationship with the Republic of Kosovo. I have to simply add on a personal note that my first visits to your country, to Kosovo, was in the 1960s. I look at the audience, I see many young people here. You may not have been born in the 1960s yet, but that was the first time that I started traveling to Kosovo and made many subsequent trips. And I look now at Kosovo and I see all the remarkable changes, the very fundamental changes that have happened. And who in the 1960s could have imagined that there would be the dissolution of Yugoslavia, the break apart of the Soviet Union, the fall of communism, and what you have today, the emergence of a strong and vigorous, sovereign and independent Republic of Kosovo. Well, congratulations. Today you have that. Today you have a vibrant economy, a functioning state, a very talented population, and a wise government. There are many challenges. You are faced with a lot of challenges, even pressures, I would say, from many different places, from Washington, from Brussels, from Belgrade, from everywhere. And maybe that's the fate of a small state. But because you have a democracy, and because you have the support of your people, and because you have a democratically elected government, you are able to face these challenges and overcome them. And it is in this environment that the Vienna Economic Forum will continue its work with Kosovo and continue to assist Kosovo in its path to full and complete Euro-Atlantic integration. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Jackovich, for this excellent and motivational speech. Now in this presentation, I will add a short personal note. It was 2003, and we were a group of students in London organizing lectures and promoting Kosovo independence. We were inviting distinguished guests. It was Dennis McShane, at that time British Secretary for Europe. We invited Professor Noel Malcolm. We invited journalist James Pettifer, and then former US Senator Joseph DeGuardia. And then we decided to invite a young leader, vibrant, well-articulated, from the civil society at that time. The venue was at LSE, and it was a full house, and the subject was a right of Kosovo for self-determination. The speaker presented excellent and well-documented arguments why Kosovo should become independent. And since then, 2003, his career has undergone a tremendous transformation. But his vision remained same. Kosovo is independent, unified internally by multi-ethnic diversity and not divided by principles of nationalities. And since then, Kosovo has undergone other changes. At that time, in 2003, Kosovo was importing security, and today, with the government, Kosovo is exporting stability. At that time, we had the largest German military base outside Germany in Kosovo. Today, with the support of government, this base is being transformed into the largest training center in the region, where the youth are gaining new skills for 21st century. At that time, we had many unique administrative buildings around Prishtina, but today we have many companies such as Collaborate, which is partnering with Samsung and providing telemedicine for more than 100 hospitals around the world. Today in Liburn, we had many soldiers, but today in Liburn we have one of the first smart cities in region established by University of Business and Technology. So there is optimistic news for Kosovo, and I would with pleasure present you His Excellency Prime Minister of Republic of Kosovo, Mr. Albin Kurti.
Thank you, Astrit. Before addressing you, I hope that all our guests in attendance have had a wonderful journey to Prishtina and an enjoyable time here so far. In order to make you feel at home, in Prishtina, we have chosen this venue, which is called Strauss, where the Vienna economic talks are taking place. And we are also very honored to have President of the Parliament of Republic of Austria, Mr. Sobotka, visiting us today as well. We are always happy to have Prishtina serve as a seat from which stronger ties with members of the Western Balkan countries and our Western European partners are forged. I hope that our city serves as a joyous and productive meeting ground for many more talks on cooperation in the future. Your Excellency, Ambassador Viktor Jackovich, President of the Vienna Economic Forum, Your Excellency, Ambassador Dr. Elena KIRTCHEVA, Secretary-General of the Vienna Economic Forum, dear Dr. Lilyana Pavlova, Vice President of the European Investment Bank, Honorable Ministers RIZVANOLLI, ALIU, and Haidari, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, representatives of diplomatic missions in Kosovo, Ambassador of Sweden, Westerlund, Slovenian Ambassador Benedejcic, Japanese Yamanaka, Greek Vakali, and our Ambassador to Austria, Mr. Plona, and you other distinguished diplomats accredited in Republic of Kosovo. Dear representatives of Austrian companies, thank you for considering Kosovo as an investment destination. Dear media representatives, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be here and exchange thoughts on regional cooperation in sustainable investments via technological innovation. First, I want to express on behalf of all Kosovars our deep gratitude to the people and the government of Austria for being a staunch supporter for Kosovo's statehood and sovereignty and development, and for providing significant support to Kosovo's European Union integration aspirations, including visa liberalization and membership in international organizations. Thank you very much. In the last year, we have seen great destruction brought by Russian invasion of Ukraine. The events that ensued that last February of 2022 have upended global politics and forced the world to examine to what extent our values were protected by economic actions. In the face of the Russian aggression and in great unity, Europe reframed, redrew, and reinvented its economic policies to hold the same moral high ground as its democratic values. The war in Ukraine, the protests over climate change, and increased resistance to social inequality, in addition to other movements, have marked the end of a time where profit can be decoupled from ethical values. Societies are interconnected organisms where everything informs everything. Aligning our core values with our economic objectives has been the approach with which our government set out to master the tasks at hand. We avoided quick fixes in favor of multifaceted action that would render our society more equitable resilient, prosperous, and sustainable. That meant that our efforts to curb corruption and crime by launching over 850 police operations were combined with efforts to give back to the vulnerable groups most affected by this corruption. We increased welfare security measures such as subsidies for 340,000 children under the age of 16 and new mothers, and student aid to 66,000 students. We've also launched a youth employment platform that has created over 2,000 jobs in the past 3 months alone. We've looked ahead while honoring our past. We've invested in efforts that supported digital native youth while supporting the centuries-old farming economy. This has entailed extending internet reach in the entire country and organizing the very first edition of STEMinis, a conference that celebrates the women and girls making invaluable contributions to science, technology, engineering, and maths fields. It has also entailed increasing government subsidies for farmers by up to 216%. The numbers have shown that we are on the right track. In our first 2 years in government, our tax income has increased by 66%. And our foreign direct investment has doubled. On average, during each year of our government, we generated more revenue for our economy than in the previous 3 years combined. At the same time, the rankings of respected international organizations have confirmed our significant progress in the areas of democracy and rule of law. We have also strengthened our bridges with our Western Balkan neighbors. I think this effort is best represented not by the numbers, but by the innumerable meetings I've had a pleasure to be a part of, where we shared challenges, victories, and visions with one another. As I mentioned the achievements of the past, I'm even more enthusiastic about those of the future. We're looking at ambitious and green years ahead. A recent agreement with the IMF grants us an initial 80 million euros for building renewable and solar energy capacities, with the possibility of another 80 million. And in our energy strategy 2022-2031, we foresee for less than 10 years more than 1,300 of megawatts generated by renewables. We are also establishing our country's first sovereign wealth fund, which we will use as a vehicle for making sustainable investments. Predominantly, we look at a near future of joint work, especially with the countries in the region. Our countries have a great deal in common, and it is our duty as political leaders to remove whatever fragmentation remains and replace it with a shared and prosperous future. In 2023, we are turning a page. The current stability, one that we've achieved after the economic shocks of the invasion of Ukraine and COVID-19 pandemic, allows us to plan for the challenges and capture the opportunities to the future. Questions surrounding supply chains, energy security, ethical technological development, climate action, and environmental sustainability require that we put our best efforts forward to brainstorm, plan, and solve the demands and challenges of the future. Let us work together to overcome these challenges and seize the opportunities that lie ahead. Welcome again, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for this very insightful and informative speech. And now I will invite Dr. Lilyana Pavlova, Vice President of European Investment Bank, to discuss about the projects that this institution is implementing in Kosovo, especially in the field of infrastructure and education, which is much needed. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Dear Prime Minister Kurti, dear Ambassador KIRTCHEVA, Ambassador Jackovich, Excellencies, Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it is really great pleasure and honor to be here in Prishtina in Kosovo. Thank you very much for your hospitality, dear Prime Minister, and ensuring not only warm hospitality, beautiful weather. Thank you very much to the whole Vienna Economic team, specifically to my dear friend Elena, for your persistence in organizing this kind of extremely important events, as you call them, talks, because today we need to talk the talk, but also we need to join efforts in order to ensure, as Prime Minister said, that this region is stable, strong, and not fragmented. The only way forward is that we ensure unity, we ensure stability and resilience of the region, and this could be done only if we join our efforts, despite the difficulties and despite the multiple challenges we are all facing in recent years. Because, as we know, the crises were coming one on top of the other. And we had to act promptly, we had to act swiftly to address each and every crisis coming one after another. And as we are saying nowadays, uncertainty is the new certainty. But as always, in times of uncertainty, we are given an opportunity. We are given an opportunity to really to stay strong, to have more forward-looking and visionary strengths, and based on lessons learned, based on our sometimes intuition, which we do have a lot in the region, I can say, really to have the strength, despite all, to build partnerships, to continue with investments, and to make sure that our economies, our businesses, our investments are stable, and not to delay any investments. Because as me representing the European Investment Bank, I can say we should not delay the investments. Continuing the investments, attracting foreign direct investments, mobilizing private sector, public sector resources together. This is exactly what we need at this very moment. And unfortunately, as what we can see in Europe, we still have huge investment gaps if we are to compare with our international peers. And here, our role as European Investment Bank is indeed to make sure that we invest in time of crisis, and to make sure that we support the energy transition, the decarbonization, digitalization, investing in connectivity, because this is what banks like EIB are doing in support of European policies, government policies, and to support huge and massive investments which are needed in Europe, in the Balkans, in Kosovo, in crowding in private investments as well. And speaking on European policies and perspectives, there are two key important policies. One is decarbonization and climate adaptation, as well as digitalization. And I can say that our strong commitment of the EIB group is to mobilize 1 trillion euro of investments by the end of 2030 in Europe and beyond, in the Balkans, and to make sure that we build a resilience, and at the same time we to develop a mechanism to ensure a just and fair transition. This is of extreme importance, of course, to us. And the energy crisis and the current crisis should also be seen, and it is already, I believe, seen as an accelerator of the energy transition. And this is exactly where, again, as an EU Climate Bank, we are going to step up our support in providing additional financing as part of the REPowerEU package and as part of the energy package which was developed for the Western Balkans region. And what I can say that we have last year in order to be able to step up our support, created a branch, a special branch, we call it EIB Global, to strengthen our local presence in the Balkans, in all the countries we are operating globally, to make sure that we can provide more tailor-made, more specific support in delivering these important investments. We are the stronger, one of the, let's say, the largest multilateral international financial institutions, but as well we are one of the main partners in rolling out the Global Gateway Initiative, which is supposed to invest more than 300 billion euro in 5 priority areas like digital, climate and energy, transport, health and education and research. And this is exactly what we are now going to focus our attention on. And speaking of the Western Balkans region, I can say we are expanding our local presence. Soon we are going to open also our office and representation here in Prishtina, like everywhere in the region. We have invested so far more than 10 billion euro in the region in the last 10 years. Only last year we have invested almost 900 million euro. We have a very strong pipeline of projects here in Kosovo. Later today we will further discuss them with the government, and with a strong pipeline we do have in supporting infrastructure, transport, environment infrastructure, in supporting connectivity, digital transformation of schools as well, health infrastructure, supporting SMEs. So I can say we are investing in projects in the region and here in Kosovo in the wide variety of sectors we can support. But in order to make sure that we are successful in making the region strong, resilient, and not fragmented, as I said in the beginning, we need first to stay united, we need to act now, we need to act together, and we need to act in cooperation and to ensure that the common regional market is operational, because it is key in going forward in ensuring economic stability, competitiveness in the region, and building the right skills and capacity. So here I can conclude by saying you can fully rely on the support of the European Investment Bank in expanding and the economic development of the region and investing in the much needed regional infrastructure as well as in regional productivity and skills. Repaying the young people in the region is of critical importance, and this is where we are going to step in and to act together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pavlova, for this speech. It's very important European Investment Bank continue to inject funds in the region, and also with your speech you injected dose of confidence and optimism much needed in this region. We will go to the ceremony awards, where the Vienna Economic Forum award to His Excellency Prime Minister of Republic of Kosovo.
According to the 15 years of excellent cooperation and contribution to the economic development at national and regional level, this is the normally award Vienna Economic Forum is granted in November for the big forum. But now, being here in Prishtina, we want to celebrate the 15 years of independence and membership of Kosovo to Vienna Economic Forum. Mr. President.
It's my great honor to present to His Excellency Prime Minister Albin Kurti of the Republic of Kosovo this award. It says, for 15 years of excellent cooperation and contribution to the economic development on a national and regional level. Sir.
Thank you very much for this award that I'm receiving on behalf of Republic of Kosovo. Thank you very much, Ambassadors KIRTCHEVA and Jackovich. Let us work together So the Go Southeast slogan of Vienna Economic Forum means Western nearshoring. So Western nearshoring can be called otherwise with another expression as a synonym, Go Southeast, and when we say Go Southeast, we mean Western nearshoring. Thank you very much, and it's a great pleasure and honor to have you here and to receive this award. Very much appreciated.
Dear guests, we start with the first session. I think we are good in terms of the timing and the schedule. This is a Kosovan efficiency. Now we will discuss sustainable investment in time of crisis and fragmented environment. The region has been and remained resilient throughout the pandemic and the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. Just after the COVID performance of Kosovo was outstanding, but then with the rising prices and inflation, it's pushing especially the private sector in the limits of operating. But still, we do have foreign direct investors coming in Kosovo. We do have many companies that will present here today. But prior to that, we have three guests here that we will start first with Minister Artane RIZVANOLLI, that she's going to inform us about the sustainable energy strategy that is being implemented by the government. Minister RIZVANOLLI, floor is yours.
Thank you, dear Ministers ALIU and Haidari, dear Ambassador SCHWARZ, Ambassador KIRTCHEVA, Ambassador Jackovich, dear Dr. PAVLOVA, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors to Republic of Kosovo from partner countries, and Ambassador of Kosovo to Austria, Mr. Plana, dear guests. As we are speaking here today, policy making and investment decisions have never been more challenging in a sense, but also in another way they have never been easier, and I will say more to this later. We are making policy at a time when there is extreme uncertainty and there is a fragile security situation in Kosovo and globally. Russian aggression in Ukraine has reminded us something that we have known all along, that energy security equals national security, and this is something that we must never forget. Meanwhile, it has also become clear, and it's becoming clearer by the day, that climate action is needed urgently if we are to have a livable planet. So, energy independence has become also more important than ever. Energy independent from Russia, but also from other countries with authoritarian regimes that also tend to be those that are providing us the fossil fuels that we are using currently. Renewable energy is clearly one way to ensure energy independence from these countries, but also to make sure that we take care of our environment and we fight climate change. Hence, what I said earlier, while it has never been more difficult to make investment decisions and policy decisions, it's also never been easier because in this context, there are clear no-regret investments, and those are investments in renewable energy and energy efficiency, which is why in our energy strategy, these are our top two priorities. And we are already making good progress in actually bringing these to life. In terms of specific investments that we are already planning. We have already advanced over the last year with several renewables projects, including a 100 megawatt solar farm at KEK, the one that will be one of the biggest energy generating capacities and one of the first new generating capacities, significant generating capacities in the last 40 years, and one that will help KEK, traditionally a coal-based plant, to be part of the transition, and the workers of KEK to be part of this just transition rather than be resistance and be left out of the transition. At the same time, we are planning some of the most innovative projects in the region, but actually wider too. We'll also be building the first solar district heating plant of 200 megawatt thermal capacity, of 50 megawatt thermal capacity, which will be serving over 60,000 citizens of Prishtina with heating, and this will be one of the largest in Europe. The biggest energy grant in decades has been, in the history of Kosovo actually, has been secured in the agreement with the Millennium Challenge Corporation last year, a grant of $202 million, which will be used for developing storage capacities of 170 megawatts for 340 megawatt hours of reserves, which will be used and will be essential to actually integrating all of the renewables that we have planned in the system. Over the next 10 years, we plan on developing 1,400 new renewables capacities, these being mainly in wind and solar, roughly the same amounts for each of these. And on this note, I'm happy and excited to share with you that this Friday, on the 12th, we will be launching the first auction for solar power in Kosovo for a capacity of 100 megawatts to be built in Kramovic in Rahovec, in public land where the government has created perfect conditions by securing grid connection, easy access to vehicles and equipment, a favorable terrain for construction and installation. And we hope and know, judging from what we have seen by now, that there will be a large number of reputable investors which are interested, therefore providing the perfect platform to start a new support scheme, which is competitive, which is transparent, and which will enable the best prices, but also highest quality for our consumers going forward. We also have ambitious energy efficiency targets. We are aiming to have 266 kiloton equivalent, oil equivalent savings, or 3 terawatt hours of savings by 2031. We recognize that on the one hand there is a great space to improve our energy efficiency, to reduce our demand this way. And also, on the other hand, this is also a great means to boost the economy, to generate jobs, particularly in the construction sector and related sectors, a sector which is already strong in Kosovo. And this will ensure that it remains so for the next decade. In energy efficiency, certainly we have a lot to do. As a country, we consume more energy. We are more energy intensive, 2.5 times higher than the average of the region, and 3.5 times higher than Europe. And this is, in a way, also good news, because it means that actually with this scope to save energy, to use energy more efficiently, there will not be needed so much expensive investment in generating capacities as we would otherwise. We've already made great progress in this sense. We've had record investment in energy efficiency over the last year, with 40 publicly owned buildings, public institutions having been renovated to the highest standards, and with another 30 projects this year, as well as with new and innovative projects that are being launched last year with subsidies for households for efficient heating, and this year these will continue, both subsidies for households for efficient heating appliances as well as other home appliances. This will be expanded for businesses with a 5 million euros for grants for businesses that want to change the technology or heating appliances for their business in order to save energy. And for the first time with the energy efficiency residential scheme for individual households. And this will all be done with the support of the EU with the energy emergency package for fighting the energy crisis, which has enabled us to roll out these huge programs and reach again another record year for investment. So while our path is no doubt a challenging one, as it is going to be for everyone else in Europe, we are confident that with the foundations for a new energy sector that we are laying, but also with the support of our partners, we will be able to make it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister RIZVANOLLI. Now I will invite Minister ALIU, Minister of Environment, Spatial Planning and Infrastructure of Kosovo.
Thank you, Mr. PANXHA. Dear Ministers, RIZVANOLLI, dear Minister Haidari, dear Ambassadors KIRTCHEVA, Jackovich, dear Dr. PAVLOVA, dear Ambassadors, esteemed guests, it gives me great pleasure to speak to you today about the significant sustainable investments in times of the crisis and fragmented environments. As we are currently facing a situation after a global pandemic, a Russian aggression in Ukraine and economic uncertainty, we need to take a long-term view and prioritize environmental, social, and governance issues. It's on us and we have the responsibility to create positive change and build a better future for our future generations. The Balkan region has experienced several political and economic upheavals over the past few decades, which have resulted in a fragmented environment that makes sustainable development a significant challenge. Therefore, sustainable investments can play a crucial role in promoting economic growth, protecting the environment, and addressing social issues to create a more stable and prosperous future for the region. Renewable energy is one area where sustainable investments in Kosovo can have a significant impact. Despite significant potential for solar and wind power, Kosovo currently relies heavily on coal for electricity generation. Investing in renewable energy projects can help reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve air quality, and promote a transition to a low-carbon economy. These investments can also create jobs and support local economies, which is crucial for our people. I'm proud to say that we are making significant improvement in Kosovo when it comes to energy efficiency performance in buildings through the law on energy performance on buildings and the incentives that the government has been giving out. Investing in energy efficiency is crucial for promoting sustainability in Kosovo. Many buildings in the country are old. They are inefficient. Due to the informal developments after the war, we have a lot of our buildings that already need to have improvements on them, leading to high energy bills and contributing to greenhouse gas emissions. Sustainable investments in energy efficient buildings and appliances can help to reduce energy consumption, improve indoor air quality, and provide long-term financial benefits to building owners and tenants. Our innovative policies for development and job creation, combined with our environmental protection policies, complement each other. The investment we are making in renewable energy, such as solar 100 megawatt project in KEK, the project for accumulative reserve with the largest capacity in Europe, the first project in Bolton for central heating with solar panels, and many other planned projects will significantly help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Although Kosovo is not yet a part of the United Nations Convention on Climate Change, we are showing our determination to undertake actions to reduce our environmental impact and contribute to the global effort to protect our planet. This year, we are preparing to unilaterally ratify the Paris Agreement, which will be preceded by Kosovo's first law on climate change. Climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution do not respect national borders, and their impact affects people and ecosystems worldwide. Therefore, we are actively lobbying for Kosovo to have the right to dialogue and access the UN funds for climate change adaptation and mitigation. Sustainable investments can play a critical role in promoting economic growth, protecting the environment, and addressing social issues in the Balkan region. While there may be challenges to investing sustainability in fragmented environment, the potential benefits for the region and future generations make it an opportunity worth pursuing. We, as a responsible government, are committed to making Kosovo a better place, economically prosperous, and environmentally sustainable. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister ALIU. Now I will introduce Dr. Christian SCHWARZ, Head of Corporate Development, Merger and Acquisition, Internal Affairs at KELAG, Austria. He will address two issues. What are the major opportunities for the countries related to the investment in renewables? And he will describe what are the key challenges on the way to a greener energy production.
Distinguished ministers, the ambassadors, dear ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to be here from part of an investment company, from an investor already active in the region, an investor already active in the Republic of Kosovo. And it's also an honor for me to strengthen your back in really confirming what you're planning to do, because I think this is the only way forward. If I may just briefly outline who we are. KELAG is one of the big energy producers in Austria. We're about 1,500 megawatts of installed capacity, entirely in renewable energy sources, so predominantly hydropower plants, wind farms, and also solar farms. We're the local grid provider for the province of Carinthia, which is in the very south of Austria, serving 18,000 kilometers of grid. We are the biggest nationwide heat producer and heat service company in Austria, and overall we are serving around 350,000 customers in Austria. To sum up, we are exclusively producing our energy from renewable sources. We operate internationally in the Balkan region as well, also in Kosovo for more than 10 years. And in total, KELAG is operating for more than 100 years, so we do have some experience in what I'm talking about. Sorry. Moving on, why is what both ministers addressed, why is it the right way to go into renewable energy production? There is the one argument, security of supply. This is something we learned especially in the last year. Europe is a very poor continent in terms of natural resources. But what we can do is we can push forward in increasing our own produced energy, and this can be done by hydro, solar, and wind farms. So this is the argument for independence. Second, of course, renewable energy is the only way to go to climate-friendly energy production. We have to go away from fossils, and it's clear that this is not possible to be done in 1 or 2 or 3 years, especially also here in the region. But if we don't start now, we will never reach the goal. Third argument, if we produce at home from renewable sources, it will be the most affordable energy source. I will show on the next slide this. Local resources can be used as well as we can create and save jobs. If we now go to the cost argument, these are figures from 2021, so they might be a bit different now because cost of financing have increased. But this graph shows the levelized cost of energy, LCOE, by technology. On the very left, very low, you see photovoltaics. Of course, photovoltaics on the ground is the cheapest one, followed by also wind farms, hydropower plant. Lignite is more expensive, hard coal is even more expensive, and on the very, very right end of the graph, you see natural gas power plants, which is something we were all able or had to endure last year. Next argument, emission. If you see in the left slide, on the left side of the graph, it's photovoltaic, wind and hydro with not zero, but almost zero CO2 emission. Then, of course, all thermal productions, lignite, hard coal, or combined in gas, have dramatically different figures. We are all aware of this, especially here in Kosovo, and we are also aware that this cannot be changed from one day to another. But as I said, we have to start now. Speaking also from an investor's point of view, what is important for an investor? What needs an investor? An investor needs a political framework that enhances investments and a legal framework that enhances investments. An investor needs stable and concrete strategic guidance for investments. We heard some ideas about this now. We need explicit, effective, and transparent policies. We need an open communication with the public, that there are also truth to the public that needs to be spoken out, that might not be always just in favor of a poll or whatever. And on the legal side, there is the need for a legal framework which is stable, and there needs to be transparent procedures for obtaining permits. And we're here in the region now for many years, and allow me to add that there is a room for improvement on this slide for the whole region and also for Kosovo. To sum up, investments in renewable energies offer comprehensive benefits for the country and the region and require a stable regulatory framework. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Dr. Schwarz. Now I will present Ms. Merita Jushinca-Peja from the Raiffeisen Bank. She is a Chief Financial Officer and she is specialized in ESG, and she will present why businesses is important to include them in their business plan.
Again, good morning, everyone. Dear ministers, dear ambassadors, dear ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to have an opportunity to speak at such event and represent Raiffeisen Bank Kosovo. The topic of ESG is not a passing trend. It will not go away, and it is the responsibility that falls under each and every one of us. Even though the ESG can be considered as a new in terms of the concept, the principles behind the ESG are for decades. Raiffeisen Bank International, for more than 130 years, has been combining financing support with the social responsibilities. For more than 130 years, Raiffeisen Bank International has been supported different sustainable businesses and projects that have a positive impact on society and the environment in general. In line with that, Raiffeisen Bank Kosovo has introduced the ESG strategy focused on 4 main pillars. It's worth to mention that Raiffeisen Bank International is the first Austrian banking group that signed the UN Principle for Responsible Banking, committed to implement 6 key principles. In line with it, Raiffeisen Bank Kosovo has introduced ESG strategy structured in 4 main pillars. The first one is employees, in-house ecology, community investment, and core business. We start with the employees. Under the employees, we would like to mention the diversity and inclusion. We are happy to say that the commitment for the diversity can be seen starting from the top. We are the bank led by the woman CEO, successful woman CEO, which is the very few among, one of the very few among Kosovo CEOs. Other than that, we are happy to share with you that 50% of the management board belongs to female and 40% of the management team in Raiffeisen Bank Kosovo are females. So this is a commitment that we have done, and we will not stop with it because the number is growing in yearly basis. The second area is in-house ecology. We are continuously supporting different activities that will have the positive impact on the environment in general. Just recently, we have installed the solar panel in our building. We have changed the vehicle fleet. Just few activities toward having a greener economy and greener agenda in our country. Third one, we would like to mention community investment. This is also one of the key strategic objectives in Raiffeisen Bank Kosovo. This year, Raiffeisen Bank Kosovo is celebrating the 20th anniversary. For more than 2 decades now, we are constantly supporting different projects that have the positive impact in the environment and society in general. And the last but not least is core business. Currently, we are over 10% of the loans related to the ESG, and we aim to have 30% by 2030. It's not only the financing the businesses, there are other 2 areas which are very important to us. It is internal awareness and education program that we are providing to our employees, and then the same we try to pass to the customers by regular advisory visits to them. Here, we would like to share one success story that we have financed last year. It's a renewable energy project, solar panel installed in one of the regions in Kosovo, but for sure we will not stop with it. We have in the pipeline a lot of other projects regarding the renewable energy, which we believe it will impact and it will positively impact the Kosovo greener agenda. For sure, in the environment that we live today, with a dynamic and unprecedented environment, there are challenges as well. There are only few that we would like to mention today. In general, we consider that there is lack of knowledge regarding the ESG. Very limited data in the market for carbon-intensive industries in Kosovo. No company in Kosovo has non-financial report because it's not obligatory for the moment. EU taxonomy is hard to be implemented, especially for the micro businesses due to the NACE code, and no regulatory framework yet in Kosovo regarding the sustainability, environment, social, and governance. Transformation into sustainable future, it is our key objective, and it will remain our key objective in Raiffeisen Bank Kosovo. And we are here, and we will always be here to support our customers to transform into sustainable future. Once again, thank you very much, and it was a great opportunity for us to present the activities that we do towards the ESG agenda in Kosovo. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jushinca-Pea. Now I will introduce Mr. Genond Messeraya. He is the CEO of Sigma as a subsidiary of Vienna Insurance Group in Kosovo. The floor is yours, sir.
Excellency ambassadors present here, Excellency Minister, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to represent today here the insurance company Sigma, which is, as Fato said, is a part of the largest insurance group in the Central and Eastern Europe. It is Vienna Insurance Group. Vienna Insurance Group has the A+ rating. This is from the certification of Standard & Poor's as a rating agency. And Sigma, as its subsidiary in Kosovo, is following the same standard, and that's why it has the highest rating in the insurance market in Kosovo. And this is certified from the regulatory institution, which is in Kosovo, Central Bank of Kosovo. During the last 10 to 15 years, Sigma has accompanied the economic development of the country and through different products which have been from the beginning products which are more typical for Western country, developed country, like CR, business interruption, GTPL, D&O, BBB, etc. We have supported the public and the private investment in Kosovo for all these years. These investments have been carried out not only from local companies, but even from big and renowned multinational group like Bechtel, like the concession carrier of the Prishtina airport, of the electrical utility, and other local SMEs and international organization. During this time, Sigma has covered big risk in Kosovo through the back-to-back agreement with A+ rated reinsurance group, which are part of the marketplace Lloyd's in London. And only to give you an idea about the risk of which Sigma has covered during the last year, 2022, I can tell you that it is 59 billion euro, which is 8 times higher than the GDP of Kosovo for the same time period. This is why these companies are playing a systemic role, and not only us as Sigma, but the whole industry in Kosovo has begun to play a systemic role in the country. Now, the reason for being successful in Kosovo is not only for us, not only the full compliance with the local legislation in the country, but the full implementation of high standard of a multinational and successful group in Kosovo. We have implemented very well defined standards, processes. We have a very well designed system in our company. We have adequate reserves for claims, which as a counterparty in the balance sheet they have the financial asset. Our financial assets are diversified in different instruments like treasury bonds and time deposit. Even time deposit are diversified in different banks, referring to the rating of each respective bank. And this is for the safety of our customer. We have a full integration of systems at Sigma. It means we have integration of production system, of financial system, and other supporting system, which allow us, even in time with high volatility, as it is the time after the pandemic, with high inflation rates, we are in position to very well calculate the risk premiums and to go toward the customers with offers which are not below the risk premium. That's why these are the key factors why we have been successful and we have achieved to have a sustainable business in the insurance market in Kosovo. But on the other side, I like to mention some other problems which should be soon addressed from the respective institution in Kosovo. we have a situation with bonus-malus system in Kosovo, which decreases the prices every year for the insurance company by 6%. On the other hand, we have inflation rate. I'm talking about spare part for the MTPL products. We are talking about healthcare institution costs, which are, everything is inflated at least with 20%. We have the highest level of non-material claims in Kosovo, the highest maybe in Europe by 70%, which is really very high. And all these variables push as inflation the cost of the company. And if the situation will on a medium term go in such trends, the revenues coming from compulsory products goes down every year with 6%, the inflation in cost is more than 20%, the system could collapse in medium terms. And that's why are needed strong reforms from regulatory institution. We need the new law which could address all the problems of the industry and the understanding from the politics for the necessity of such kind of reforms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Messarea. In terms of regulatory reform for insurance sector, next time maybe we'll have a Minister of Finance or Governor of Central Bank here present. Now I will introduce Mr. Mustafa Kemal Kafadar, which is a senior advisor at the Presidency of the Republic of Turkey Investment Office, Corporation Partner of Vienna Economic Forum. Floor is yours, sir.
Dear ministers, dear ambassadors, diplomats, business managers, distinguished guests, I'm also very pleased to be here in Prishtina today and to talk with you about energy and infrastructure policies and their relations to create a sustainable economy. Actually, we all agree in which position the world is, especially because of the global warming. And we also agree on that what has to be done. I believe strongly on international cooperation in sharing the experiences, especially, so that everybody knows what the others do and how they do that, which kind of problems they face and which kind of challenges and how do they try to solve it. Therefore, I would like to share with you the Turkish experience, what we have done in the last 10, 20 years in terms of transformation, in terms of trying to build a sustainable economy for the future. Unfortunately, we do not live in the best times of the history of the world, but we have a big responsibility to give to the next generation a better world. So, in Turkey, we had a rapid growth of population in the last 20 years. And parallelly, we had also economic growth. And as I said, the global warming forced us to think and discuss about our fundaments in environmental policies and economical policies. So, I'll come to that, how we did it, but let me tell you how we changed, how the country changed in the last 20 years. For example, our primary energy demand has doubled, and installed power generation capacity has been exceeded threefold. The length of highways from 6,000 kilometers to 28,000 kilometers. The amount of cargo handled at ports from 190 million tons to 440 million tons. The length of high-speed train line from 0 to 1,460 kilometers. And the number of airports from 26 to 57. So, all that process was not so easy. Of course, we also ratified the Paris Agreement in 2021 and tried to implement what we have promised in our country to our people and internationally. I think the governmental subsidiaries, the incentive program is essential in that sense. The program in Turkey, we call it YEKDEM, means supporting the renewable energy investments. So the government supports and incentivizes the new incentives. The financing, to create new financing opportunities, possibilities for the companies, we had two models. One is public-private partnership, where the public and private companies coordinate their weaknesses and strengths so that they can cooperate together. The second model is build, operate, transfer, where the company who builds the project, who makes the project, realize the project, operates it 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, and then transfers it back to the public. The new resources are also very important. For example, especially after the Ukrainian-Russian war, we have seen, we all follow very close how the hydrogen technology is developing. To create sustainable economies, countries have to have a long breadth and resiliency. This is very important. And there is, in that respect, there is no one-size-fits-all formula. Every country has to find his own way. But as I told at the beginning, in this point, the international cooperation and sharing the experiences is vital. This job, this is of course easier to say as to do. It's a long way and very difficult. Every country has to find its own way. I said this job reflects diverse priorities, combination of abilities, technologies, resources, policies, new financial instruments. I tried to give you main points of the Turkish policy, Turkish experience. I don't know how much it will help for finding your own way in your activities. I hope it will help you. I think to the organizers again, and to the sponsors especially also, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kafadar. Now we have Mr. Wolfgang Kroppel, CEO of ESNA Group. The floor is yours.
The Excellencies, the ambassadors, dear distinguished guests. Thank you. I'm proud to be here. I'm pleased that I can introduce our company group, and bring some insights also to the transition of the energy systems. It is not strictly confidential. It is, it is for the public what I want to show to you. So this is just something which was in the presentation. I just saw it. It is a mistake. ENSO GmbH is an asset manager. Is an asset manager working worldwide and mainly focused on renewable energy systems. We focus also especially on hybrid systems, so that we combine energy sources and combine the efforts there. We are acting as an asset manager for our portfolios, for our clients. We are also doing M&A transaction, and we also operating plants, and we are developing projects and plants. This is, as I told you, we are acting worldwide, but focus is Europe. We have a very experienced team with more than 40 years of experience in the energy business. I'm personally also my whole life in the energy business in different situations. And we are supporting the whole life cycle of an energy investment, so from the development to the execution, financing, operation. Our Norwegian portfolio, which is very valuable, this is a transaction we are doing at the time being now these days. Just to give you some outlooks where we are, what we are doing. We are centered in Europe, in Northern Europe, Central Europe. We are also in Turkey, where we are very happy with our operations. And together with our partners and with our sister companies, we are also able to go to other markets like Asia, beginning from Central Asia, and also to South America. We have also new markets in the focus, so we are talking with partners for future efforts in Africa. And we have also a special region. This is Ukraine. I think hopefully this horror will end in some time, and there will be a lot of things to do, especially in the energy system. And Ms. Olga Bosak is here. She is responsible for our strategic development of the group, and she's also Ukrainian, and we are very pleased to have her in our team. Just short what we do. As we do with asset management, we do project development in operations, portfolio development, M&A transaction, and project in special for special projects. So Minister mentioned that Prishtina is building up this solar heating solar district heating. We are also contracted in Styria for a similar project which is to be built in Graz with 350 GWh for the district heating of Graz. So there are a lot of similarities, and we are, as a project manager, contracted there. So what we are doing is we come from hydro. We have a lot of experience in hydro, also in solar, wind, and we are stepping into also with partners in the hydrogen production. So for one client, we develop at the moment in time a 100 megawatt solar plant with 20 megawatt hydrogen production. In that case, it is good because the client itself is the consumer of the hydrogen, because that's one of the most important thing, how to transport, how to sell the hydrogen, and how to get it commercially viable. What I want to point out is, I think everybody is in the same line that we have to have a transition and transition into renewables, energy transition. But it goes along with a lot of other transitions. It is not just to erect some renewable power plants like solar plants or wind farms. This comes across with a lot of other challenges, and Irina did a quite good analysis. I think that they have put up a four-pillar strategy to energy transition, which means that there is a need for the operations. So we have distributed energy sources, we have distributed nets, we have a lot of challenge for grid operations, and this has to be challenged. It is not only to strengthen grid, so it's also a question of how to on an intelligent way, in a clever way, to operate grids and operate also flexible sources, to flexibilize grid operations, to flexibilize grid services, and also to have an eye on necessary sources and storage systems. So I think that especially also hydropower pump storage capacities are heavily needed in the future. We need rotating masses in the system in the same way as we put volatile solar and wind sources to the grid. I think that's very important, and it's not only strengthened, as I mentioned, it's also a question of smart grid operations. It also needs some movements in market design, how to regulate in the wholesale market. How to build in the prosumers. So we have a lot of individual producing plants. We have an additional need. It goes also into a heavy regulatory challenge to address this market change. For sure, there is also innovation needed, and this to go into the future. I think I mentioned storage is really a big question. So we need intervention. We need the usage of existing storage facilities, but we also need power to hydrogen, power to steam, power to heat, battery systems, and all these should be work together in a smart way. So we will also have to implement IoT and artificial intelligence in the transformation. It's not just to put the sources onto the grid. And it will need also other business models and development of business models. I just take one example. So I think everybody or Europe is facing a huge increase of electric vehicles. Yeah, if we see that electric vehicle is a huge distributed battery, yeah, and if you take for example into account that the average car in Austria is driving just 20-25 kilometers per day, the whole other this takes, let's say, 1 hour, depends on if it's in the traffic or not, let's say 1 hour, and the other time 23 hours, the car stands still, and this is for the majority of the cars. So you have a huge distributed battery, and with smart grids you can use this battery. This will support to, let's say, reduce just the efforts for strengthen the grid. But it has also to be implemented and to managed in a quite smart way. I think one of the most changing things will be the tariff system. I personally have also an electric vehicle. In the future, I think I don't want to pay for 1 kilowatt hour for charging, but what is my need? My need is I want to go in 9 o'clock in the morning to the office, have 20 kilometers to drive, and then at 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I have to drive back or to drive to a client or somewhere else. So what I want to have is I want to pay for the service. So, and in the meantime, the grid operator can use my battery, but if it will serve, let's say, my need that I can go from A to B, what I've asked for. I think pay for services will be would be a paradigm change also in the energy system, and yeah, I think all these 4 pillars with their themes are interactive and connected to each other, and I think all this has also some regulatory background and needs. So this has to be also thought in advance when regulatories and laws and regulations are designed. Yeah, what I also can just say in our experience, we are a long time in the region. We are invested in Albania, we are acting in Croatia, we are acting in Serbia. The most important thing for investors is, I think I can just repeat that what Dr. Schwarz said, is that the legal system should be reliable and political system should be reliable. So it trustworthy in the systems and in regulations and permits has to be the case. Then investment will come, and investment can attract it because there is a great potential, and it's a great country, great compliments to the development you have had and to the development you're looking for. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Kroppel. Now it's a turn on the final presenter, Mr. Tomasz Waslawicek, Head of Project Implementation at Hydrophil in Austria. The floor is yours, sir.
Dear Excellencies, dear Ambassadors, dear Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to have the opportunity today to talk about water security in the Western Balkans. So currently we are implementing a project together with the International Institute for Applied System Analysis, also based in Vienna, for the World Bank, looking at water security in different countries. So, as we know, pressures are increasing, putting the water system and our societies at stake. Looking at the costs of water insecurity, water scarcity due to an increasing gap between the demand and availability. We face a higher frequency of water hazards, causing infrastructure damages, lives and economic losses. Inadequate access to water and sanitation services with the associated social, health and economic losses. Environmental degradation due to insufficient wastewater treatment, inefficient use of water resources, and ecosystem degradation. So we have the vision to achieve water security for all. For this, we have to sustain our water resources. We have to deliver adequate or excellent water services, and we also have to build resilience. Just some details about the Water Security Diagnostic Initiative from the World Bank. What we're trying to do is also to give the countries or allow the countries to undertake a rapid assessment of the current, but also the future water security, the challenges, the risks, but also the opportunities. Yeah? Also benchmarking water security amongst neighboring countries, but for the decision makers, maybe the most important point is to place water at the center of the economic development agenda and provide recommendations for water security improvement. Yeah? So if you have certain challenges, but if you also can say, yes, we have a certain action plan to overcome these challenges, yeah, then this is a support also for the decision makers. So our methodology, how we implemented this water security assessment, especially deep dive assessments in Western Balkan countries, we were looking first at the current diagnosis. Yeah, we had stakeholder consultations, stakeholder workshops, yeah, but also looking at the future trajectories. Yeah? What are the negative impacts of climate change? Yeah? How is the economy developing, GDP development, etc. Yeah? And then to draft a country narrative to tell the story about water security. Yeah? The current situation, but also the future situation. And then in a second step, together with the stakeholders in the countries, yeah, we try to develop or identify first the actions and develop a set of actions, an action plan, how to address water security challenges and how to increase water security in the region and in the countries. So what are the water security challenges? The water security challenges in the different countries are of course different, but there are at least 4 challenges every country is facing. The first one is there is high investment needs to comply with water-related EU directive. This is the Water Framework Directive, the Groundwater Directive, the Drinking Water Directive, the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive, the Floods Directive, etc. We can also see, and this is maybe the biggest bottleneck, there is a lack of capacities on all different levels, national level, ministry level, regional levels, but also at utility level, yeah, operating level. We are talking here about really technical staff operating the systems. So if you construct a new wastewater treatment plant, for instance, you need people to operate and to maintain it. And you have to think about, at a very early stage, to get the right staff, educated staff in these positions, because just looking for them when you have completed the construction of the wastewater treatment plant, and it's a bit too late. There's an institutional and organizational complexity due to the transboundary river basins in all the regions of the world, but in the Danube region it's pretty complex with so many different countries. And of course, climate change. There is an increase of floods and droughts. Looking especially at Kosovo, yeah, that is a water-scarce country compared to the neighboring countries, but also the water-rich countries. It's hard to say a country is water-rich when you just look at national levels. So you have to look also at the different sub-regions. You have to think about the distribution of water, the spatial distribution and the timely distribution. So what we are also doing, especially together with our partner, the International Institute for Applied System Analysis, to look at the future trajectories, to look at the different scenarios. So we don't know our future exactly, precisely, yeah, but we can make some certain assumptions. have a range of different scenarios. And if we are aware of these scenarios and the impacts, then we can also develop specific action plans. But there are also water security opportunities. So early alignment with the EU directive can attract donors and helps to meet future deadlines. Just for instance, so looking at the different countries, we have countries that are member countries, we have countries that are candidate countries at the beginning of the accession process or in the middle of the accession process. For instance, Croatia received 2.9 million grants as a member country, just for the implementation of infrastructure projects in the wastewater sector. Grants, not loans. So these high investments also means that there are a lot of business opportunities for the private sector. So for consultancy services like we are doing, for designs, for contractors, for supervision, for supply of technology, supply of goods. So, and the EU accession process, we can also see from many different countries, this is really a boost for necessary water reforms. Most of the countries have already aligned the national legal framework to the EU directives at a very early stage to attract, of course, funds, but also to boost necessary reforms within the country. And, of course, the awareness of climate change. So appropriate actions can be only set if you know the negative impacts of climate change or the different scenarios. So maybe my final sentence would be, you can just have sustainable investments if you also are looking at certain bottlenecks at the early stage. So you need the capacities for maintaining, for operating this infrastructure. Talking about asset management, my colleague before, infrastructural asset management is very important when we talk about sustainability of water infrastructure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Thomas. I want to thank all the presenters for the presentations, and we have about 10 minutes for questions and answers. So I think that the floor is yours from the public. Whoever has question to ask, to know more information about certain issues. Gentleman there.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to congratulate all of you for the nice organization. My name is Dimitar Klisarovski. I'm the country managing director of Diaverum in Macedonia. We provide dialysis services in Macedonia, and Diaverum is a Swedish-born company providing life-enhancing renal care to 39,000 patients worldwide in 23 countries. In the region, we are present in Macedonia from 2018 and in Albania from 2019. My question is for the Minister of Economy. How could we get information regarding the future plans of the government of Kosovo for the opportunities of private-public partnership in the healthcare sector and investment in the healthcare sector with the interest for us in the renal care services? Thank you.
Minister?
I would say, thank you for the question. I would say the Ministry of Health would be the right institution to start talking to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other question? Okay, so I'll continue to ask. I have a question for Mr. ALIU, Minister ALIU. Mr. ALIU, now what are the key challenges in terms of environmental protection in Kosovo?
Well, actually, the first main challenge is building the system. Since Kosovo is a young country, we are still on the building the system to respond to the development that has been quite fast after the war. Kosovo is a transitional country if we compare to other post-socialist ones. Also, there was a war here. But what is something very distinguished to other countries that was post-socialist and post-war is that we had, for a quite long time, an institutional gap during the Milosevic period, that after the war we had to start from the beginning, building all the institutions from the beginning. For one aspect, it had some advantages, but for other aspects, as it is for the development, that it was a huge development after the war in Kosovo, a huge potential from our diaspora, from international community presence that has been here. There was a huge potential that brought a quite fast developments, especially on the urban growth, that we were lacking strong institutions to follow and to plan properly this development. I think this was, a kind of, in one hand, good to see a fast development, but on the other hand, a weak institution that couldn't follow brought a situation that now we need to adapt into the current situation. And I think building capacities to respond to this situation in which we are, that is actually brought this fragmented environment in our country. This is actually the main challenge of our country.
Thank you, Minister. I have another question for Minister RIZVANOLLI. Just before the conference, I received an invitation for the official opening of auction on 12th of May. Do you anticipate interest from foreign companies in this auction, and are they divided into lots, or is it just 100 megawatts, one company that will get the license?
Thanks for the question. We have put a lot of effort as a ministry in preparing for this auction. This will be one lot. So one 100 megawatt solar power plant located in publicly owned land in Kramovic in Rahovec, where the government will be providing a 30-year lease, guaranteed price assurance, streamlined administrative procedures with government agencies, and of course no land acquisition costs, as we have made sure to secure that the land has good irradiation and favorable terrain for construction. Already conducted an environmental assessment study by Kosovar standards, but of course the investor will be expected to conduct their own study. And we have secured also the nearby grid connection. So we wanted to make sure that to make it as easy as possible, as attractive as possible for investors. We have already seen over the last year, particularly after the Russian aggression in Ukraine, the interest of investors, including from reputable companies, some of the largest, most reputable companies in the world, both European, American, and from other countries. So we are confident that there will be sufficient interest. We are committed to making this a fair and transparent process and to setting an example, not only for investments in energy, but also in other fields. The kickoff will be on Friday. I'm not sure the time has been set yet, but Friday afternoon, but in addition to the launch of the auction, we will be having a pre-bidders investors conference on the 25th of May. This has not been made public yet. And here, investors will have a chance to come in person to receive any clarifications on the auction documentation, on the bid documentation that they may want to have. And it's indeed very exciting, and we look forward to seeing the results in a first of what will be a series of investments, not only in renewable energy, in power generation, but also a series of investments in district heating. We are currently conducting feasibility studies for district heating systems in 8 municipalities in Kosovo, which currently have no district heating. And we very much look forward to starting with these investments as soon as the results are ready. So there will be a lot of investment opportunities, and I'm happy to see also that there are many Austrian companies here today. And I hope that you will keep interest in Kosovo and follow these developments.
Thank you a lot, Minister RIZVANOLLI. Now we will focus a bit on the private sector. We had 2 speakers from Raiffeisen Bank and Sigma who are present in Kosovo, but I want to ask participants from 3 other companies, do you have any concrete plans to invest in Kosovo? Mr. Schwarz?
Well, we are invested in Kosovo for more than 10 years now. At the moment, any new investments are halted. We're in a process of sorting out our issues with authorities, and as soon as this will hopefully be done soon, then Kosovo might be open again for new investments.
Hello. Yeah. No, we are not invested in Kosovo at the moment in time, but as I told you, we are invested in surrounding countries. We have stable operations in Albania, and Albania has a joint energy market or electricity market with Kosovo. And we have also investors which are keen to take risks. So I think we have to see that there's great opportunities, but there's still risk, not only in Kosovo, but in the whole region. But yes, we want to go here, we want to come here, and we want to invest. I took also the opportunity weeks ago when we had been here with a delegation of the Austrian Wirtschaftskammer, the AWO, to get in contact with interesting people who we can partner up.
Thank you. Mr. Yeah.
As a consultancy company, we are not doing investments, but maybe some of our studies, some of our reports can attract, of course, investments.
Okay, thank you so much. We have, let's say, 1 minute left before we wrap up the session. Did anyone from the public change their mind and will be courageous to ask a question? Okay, if someone from participants want to add any closing remarks? Okay, then it's left for me too. Okay, thank you so much for all of you for staying with us, and it was really a pleasure to host, to moderate the Vienna Economic Forum. I hope that you were able to be informed more about what's happening in Kosovo, in the region, and we look forward for the next events. And I think with this event we injected a dose of confidence and optimism for Kosovo, because we are part of the Balkans, and as Churchill said, the Balkans produces more history than it can consume. Hopefully we're going to start to produce more goods than we can consume, so we can export the rest to EU. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We are starting a little bit late, and for that reason, we will finish a little bit early. Or we will try. We had a very interesting session this morning, and we're very grateful to all of the participants in it for their contributions and for their discussions. I truly hope that this is an opportunity for networking and discussions. You know, once, many years ago, I was doing a conference, and one of the organizers, the technical organizers of the conference, he said, "Victor, I have an idea. Don't have any sessions, no panels, no speakers. Just have coffee and networking, because that's what it's really all about." And I told him, I said, you know, that's an excellent idea. We cannot do that. But it points out that the importance of all these gatherings is that you form linkages, you form relationships, or you deepen the ones that you already have. And we are hopeful that this is part of our work, not only to put people together, but to help countries like Kosovo, who are on their way on the path to full, as I said this morning, to full Euro-Atlantic integration. We have this afternoon a very great panel, and I am very honored to be with all of them here. They come from different representations from different countries. I want to turn first to a very good friend of mine, and we were just comparing notes as to how long we know each other. 30 years or more, I think. I once worked in Slovenia. Danica Purg is the founder and the president of IEDC-Bled School of Management. Bled is the lake in northern Slovenia, very picturesque area. They advertise themselves as the school with a view, because they have quite a view of the lake and the island in the middle of the lake. It stands for International Executive Development Center, IEDC, and it was founded in 1986. She's also the director of the European Leadership Center and president of the Central and East European Management Development Association. She's widely published, advises many countries and many different institutions in different countries. Very interesting that in 2010, she was selected as the Dean of the Year by the Academy of International Businesses. So, please, Dean of the Year, Danica Purg.
Thank you very much. I heard that they call you Jackovich here, Ambassador Jackovich. For me, he is Ambassador Jackovich, you know. But Jackovich looks very nice, I have to say. And what Ambassador forgot to say is that he, or didn't want to say intentionally, is that he married in Bled. Bled is such a beautiful place, you know. So I asked him today whether after 27 years he still has the same wife, and he said yes, which is very important data too, you know. And later we met sometimes, quite often, I can say, especially when I was also, I had an honor, I have to say, to be representative of Slovenia in the Business Advisory Council of Southeast Europe. And that was a council within Stability Pact, which was, you know, helping and advising to different governments in this part of the world. And in that time, you know, as a president of business school, I was sometimes saying, I spent so much time on this traveling and etc. You know, it was not directly connected with what I'm doing, but I can tell you I had a lot of good network because of that. I met Muhtar Kent, you know, then president of Coca-Cola, who is now became a doctor honoris causa in our school. We have him at this conference, which we organized now on May 18. a big conference. So I met, you know, Victor there. I met many, many people from all these parts of the world. And, you know, we went every 2 months to different governments and talking with them how to connect better and, you know, how to build bridges, real bridges between the countries and so on. So this was really something very, very, I shall say, not only useful, you know, because useful is not the right word, but it was something which was very pleasant and very, you know, profound, building profound relationship, I would say. And if you have profound relationship with a certain country, then you can always do something, not only say something, but do something good for that country. And I have a profound relationship with Kosovo because we have here more than 50 graduates who finished the studies, of 34 of them MBA, and one of them now, Merita, who is also here, will soon finish the doctoral study. And we have, you know, we have at least 5-6 students, former students here today. And tonight we meet them, and this is absolutely great. And I can confirm what I heard today, which looks to be a phrase, but it is true. We saw that very often, that the people, you know, that you have in this country, great, talented people, very good in speaking languages, and very much interested in the, you know, in all this, in all leadership skills, what is, you know, what we think that is very important. So I wanted to say this at the end, but I said it in the beginning. So here is my little contribution today. What could I tell you, important people in this room, talking about economy, you know, what could I really contribute? And I said to myself, I shall contribute some words about the quality, because I'm all my life, you know, I left university, where I was professor at Faculty of Political Science, later at Faculty of Organizational Work, and I left university after 10 years being there, an academic, and I made the first management school in Central and Eastern Europe, 37 years ago. You heard from Ambassador the name of it. It's IEDC, which means International Executive Development Center. And that means that in that period, 37 years ago, we were not welcoming the word management. That's why I invented the word executive development. And we are still IEDC, but after we moved to Bled, from Brdo to Bled, we became Bled School of Management. But we were so well known under IEDC that I kept this name. So, you know, respecting the history, respecting the tradition. And then I saw that I could do something good in my life if I'm fighting and helping to contribute to the quality of management education, which became much commercialized, which became, you know, like I had some students from Mongolia, and they said, can you give us and from Canada too, they said, can you write us the diploma that we finished the school? I got a shock, you know. We want really to make real leaders in our school. And so as soon as we are in the environment of economy, what is the topic here today, then we tend to think and to talk in terms of quantity, of numbers. Numbers have a kind of enchanting impact on us. The more economic growth, the better. And then I ask myself, is this true? Because we have to know that it's very important which kind of economic growth, on whose account, etc. No? If we look to economic results of Germany after 1930, you know, in these difficult times, they were astonishing. I mean, good, you know, increasing economic growth and a remarkable low unemployment. We forgot that in that time, Germany has been supported by businesses who made big profits of export to Germany. And the price of focus on numbers had a catastrophic consequences. And let us be clear, we are again in the danger zone. Worldwide, the investment in arms industry are high in a world full of wars, conflicts, and military tension.
there will be higher economic growth and lower unemployment. And that is that a reason for a big hurrah? No. Let's focus on quality, the quality of an economic growth. This is the only way to judge if we are on the right track to create a better world. I needed this introduction to make clear that we consider as our mission in developing managers and leaders is to make leaders who will work for a better world. We have been one of the first institutions of this kind to introduce business ethics in our curriculum. You know, most of the schools introduced it like, you know, after this Enron crisis, etc. But we did it, we are existing 37 years, we did it 33 years ago. Already, we put ethics in our management school as an obliged, required subject. You know, it's a funny story. I was teaching ethics by myself at university, but this was more what was Marx saying about ethics, what was Hegel saying, what was Kant, etc. But business people are annoyed to listen to that. Business people want to know what are the, what are the dilemmas, how to fight with that, what it comes up every day in your job, etc. So they want to discuss about that, to be ready to find the answers by themselves. And so when the companies, you know, the system of socialist self-management, then, you know, this school was made already when it was still 5 years Yugoslavia, you know. So that was something very special. And my idea was to build, you know, I receive a lot of letters that I'm importing imperialism in Yugoslavia, et cetera, et cetera. But what I wanted to do is a professionalism and to be a professional leader with ethical attitude, you know. And so later, in addition to business ethics, IEDC introduced a lot of other topics related to quality as a sustainability, social responsibility. And we have today already, in fact, in the 90s already, we had stakeholder approach. IEDC became United Nations prime champion. We are only 2 schools, one Hungarian, ours, but ours was the first. The Hungarian came last year, and we are for 10 years already so-called champion, supporting and promoting the principles of responsible management education. Are executives in our classes on accounting and finance not talking about the profit, is the question. Of course they are. But the main question is profit for what? This question is directly related to issues as sustainability and social responsibility. We also realize that companies have to innovate to be sustainable, to be so-called future ready. But again, we agree with one of the Slovene pioneers of robotization who recently said, essential in the development of robotization and artificial intelligence is to focus on what people need. So ethics is becoming more and more important, also now with this ChatGPT, etc. This is unbelievable what challenges we have in front of us. So this guy, Professor Uroš Stanić, he also said on that robotization that the artificial intelligence can be dangerous if it comes in the wrong hands. So at our school, we do our best not to develop leaders with so-called wrong hands. Besides ethics, sustainability, and social responsibility, we created a program on art and leadership to make managers and leaders better listeners, better observers. You know, through visual art, you can start to observe better, and to develop their imagination and creativity and the uses of senses. You know, you have so many times the problems when you have to make hard decisions and you have to be creative. You may not forget that. And so to become on one side inspired by the people they lead and to see also opportunities for the companies in the mass of data they are daily confronted with. Are we able to help them to prevent with our education all unpleasant decisions? Of course not. But we show that every decision, for example, the necessary laying of people can be made on a beautiful in the, you know, in inverted commas, or ugly. And You can just tell people, for instance, you are dismissed and you go, or you can do it in the frame of a social plan, including the assistance in finding new employment. We call this artistic leadership. This is our way in a world of enchanted by numbers to promote quality. So, as I said already, highly talented people adding some additional development of their senses, development of creativity, etc., it can help a lot to build the better society. This would be my small contribution to this event, and I have to say that I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danica Purg. The Bled School of Management really does have quite a reputation, and as she said, there are so many graduates right here in Kosovo that they're going to have their own gathering, I think, tonight or tomorrow or sometime. Tomorrow, today, later today. Time flies. There's so many of them, it may go into tomorrow, yes. I would like to introduce someone to you that doesn't need introduction in Kosovo, because she is the Minister of Energy, Entrepreneurship and Trade, Minister Rosetta Haidari. I would just like to preface what she is going to say by saying that she is very well respected after about 20 years of work in various international development agencies outside of Kosovo, working not only with issues dealing with Kosovo, but with other countries as well. She was, as you all know, in the first government of Prime Minister Kurti, where she had the unenviable task, I would say, of amalgamating 5 different ministries under her one ministry. And I wasn't here at the time, but I understand that that was done extremely well and extremely professionally. She is known internally and externally, I would say, to us outside of Kosovo. She's known as a very straightforward proponent of Kosovo sovereignty and Kosovo's national interests. So I bring you the Minister of Energy, Entrepreneurship and Trade, Minister Rosetta Haidari. Please.
Dear Ambassador Jackovich, thank you very much for your good words, which makes me more obligatory for my country, for region, and for Europe. Dear all present in this event, I am really honored to be with you in Prishtina, where we can reflect jointly in this very important Vienna Economic Forum, as it is a very crucial topic for the acceleration of comprehensive economic development with the motto regional cooperation in a fragmented environment, and the session innovation and technology as a prerequisite for economic development in the future. Dear all present, I am very honored to present my government because I present government of young people, the most valuable resource for economic development. And yes, Ambassador Jackovich, I am very fanatic to strengthen them, to build on their skills and utilize their knowledge for the industry development and economic development of the country, but also of the region, and contribute to European values. As the market increasingly powers economies, it is a clear sign that innovation has become a crucial issue in firms' performance and plays a vital role in the competitiveness, productivity in the firm level and national economy. Innovation helps firms increase their integration into global value chain. Otherwise, firms would face difficulties entering the international market without offering more attractive, better quality and products with more competitive price. Nowadays, the strength of our economy is based on the extent of its technological progress, as the world today is experiencing rapid development with the emergences of successive new technologies. Dear all, I see that Kosovo has lots of opportunities, and I don't know if my colleagues, ministers, informed you about accept from people other possibilities that the country has for industry development, industry transformation with usage of technology and usage of innovation. But let me inform that we have moved first step before going to the industry policy in parallel while we are analyzing all the industry sectors. During last years, we have moved with the law for sustainable investment, which is a precondition and a guarantee for all investors in the country to come and invest for nearshoring and also increase the production of the local producers who are very hungry and looking for many entrepreneurs and joint ventures to set up jointly. I have done lots of, together with my colleagues and private sector, lots of analysis in the industry, and they are all eager to come to transformation, faster transformation, and lots of eagerness to get more knowledge transfer and technology transfer to boost the economy of the country. I assure you that lots of entrepreneurs are more and more expanding every day, and I am surprised for their proactiveness. Therefore, their role is also for education in the country, to prepare skills and knowledge of the country for faster transformation. In this sense, we have analyzed, we have developed the strategy, first and foremost of industry policy after lots of analysis of different sectors, and we came to a clear vision that Kosovo, by 2030, Kosovo's industry will be more stable, innovative, and more competitive in foreign markets. Our mission is for innovative and competitive industry by stimulating the growth and development of the processing industry in order to increase productivity, advance technology, job creation, value-added growth, and export growth targeting the circular economy. There are 5 key objectives in this industry development, but more to inform you about the innovation entrepreneurship that Kosovo is looking to ensure more space for youth of the country and for entrepreneurs, to provide more direct support through Innovation Fund after finalization of the law for innovation entrepreneurship, which has the primary focus the proactiveness of the private sector, but also build on skills of the youth of the country through incentivizing business sectors to provide dual vet in the country, but also with Ministry of Education, increasing funds for research and development to bring the proactiveness of the business again in research innovation and build on industry transformation faster and support the region also with our value chain integration of our products to value chain in the region and more in European countries. I am a witness of many investors coming from Germany, from Austria and other countries, including Japan, also interested to invest. Kia Motors just contacted me 2 days ago to have a meeting, and many others coming to auto, textile, industries in the country, but they all come with a word of innovation, of entrepreneurship. And they are so surprised when they see youth, so creative, so talented, and so much with multilingual skills, but also in need to build more on the vocational education skills for their contribution to industry. Through our direct support to Innovation Training Park in Prizren with 40 hectares, we are supporting innovative ecosystem and functioning of the Center of Digital Excellence. We have also supported the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering for Innovation Entrepreneurship Center and more on the ICT spaces for youth incubators, but also through Fund for Innovation will boost more on direct support to different startups with tech part that will contribute to industry transformation faster. Dear all present, I would like to inform you also that in purpose to bring a very proactive private sector, we are in the final stage of drafting the law for Economic Chamber of Kosovo, National Chamber, in the model of Austria, where all businesses will come together with a very clear voice and very much good constructive cooperation with the government to fasten the economic development of the country. We need very much to hurry up as youth is migrating from the country, and we really need to make more on double and triple effort as a government to work in different parallel initiatives. So during last year, we moved with 16 laws, but they are not enough. We need to do more on making concrete direct support for bringing the human resource straight to the system to support the country development. I am using my words and not my speech, as it is important to bring the alert of nearshoring in the country, which is a very competitive region compared to other countries around the region, thanks to not only youth, but to tax system and to the legal framework best performing in the region. I very much appreciate the word Southeast Europe, as we are Southeast Europe, and we will support Europe with our values through innovation, through talent, through skills, and through nearshoring advantages that we are offering to different businesses. More to say, I wouldn't take time to inform about other businesses that are coming, but the trends are in a right path. If you look in our website of Ministry of Industry, Entrepreneurship and Trade, you will see just the diagrams moving from year 2019, 20, 21 and 22, where export is in double increase and triple increase export of services, especially for export of services. We have just last year 2.5 billion euro export of services. More on registry of new businesses in the country. If I look at Agency of Business Registry in our ministry, I find the number of 1,873 businesses registered, but we need to check on how many active, and I found 150 of them in the industry and processing sector being active in Kosovo, Republic of Kosovo. More to inform you about youth being active in different startups and different incubation and bringing the country in faster transformation through their innovative ideas and export of services through their startups. Therefore, the government is looking forward that Fund for Innovation will bring more funds for them and bring more faster transformation of the industry and economy of the country. Dear all present, we need to contribute to circular and green economy. As Kosovo has generated economic value in millions of euros for KTO unit and stands better than countries of the region with the exception of Serbia. Kosovo's goal is to maintain a clean environment with advanced eco-technology which will reduce CO2 and greenhouse gases in relation to value-added millions. I would like to inform about the key sectors that are very attractive for all of you, especially businesses present in this room. The industry sector of wood is the most attractive and the growing star in the country, but also the textile sectors, metal, non-metal industry, they are all the best performers in the industry private sector. Therefore, they look for partners, they look for increase of their capacities and export to European market with their qualitative products and more in competitive price. I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity and look forward to a good outcome of this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Minister. The energy and the creativity that Minister Haidari brings to her work in the government of Kosovo is really impressive and is matched only by the vigor and the youthful nature of Kosovo society. It's a good match. I would like to introduce someone from the international side, international organizations, and that is Madam Signe Ratzo, who is the Deputy Director-General of the Directorate-General of Research and Innovation in the European Commission. She's originally from Estonia, but she's coming to us from Brussels, and as a matter of fact, almost immediately after her presentation, she will have to go back to Brussels. The work is that important. She is the chief negotiator for association agreements with third countries that sign on to various projects in research and innovation in Brussels. She has been focused in her career, as I have researched it myself, on citizens' engagement, social policy, social innovation. She was previously with the Directorate-General of Trade at the European Commission, and she also worked for many years in the Ministry of Economic Affairs of the government of Estonia. Madam Signorazzo.
Dear Ambassador Jackovich, many thanks for your kind introduction. Dear Minister Haidari, dear Professor Burg, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to be here today with you in Prishtina. Many thanks to the Vienna Economic Forum for organizing this event, and to our hosts here in Kosovo for the most admirable welcome. This is actually my first occasion to be here in Prishtina, and as really someone responsible for all the association negotiations with these countries who have associated to our program, a multi-billion research and innovation program of the European Union. Currently, there are already 16 countries associated, and Kosovo is associated for the first time. So it's my great pleasure to be with you here today. Now, as Minister mentioned, now a lot of reforms have undergone and still in the pipeline here in Kosovo. One of those is the industrial strategy. As I also heard from your deputy, whom I just met after the session here, it already keeps in mind the Industry 4.0. That is the digitalization, the green transformation of the industry. But the very inspirational welcome speech by Professor Purg, where she mentioned also the ethics aspect, which she has been devoted all her career in Bled, in your institute. What we are now actually promoting at the EU level is already what we call Industry 5.0, which means the human-centric approach to industrial development. Well, particularly if we have in mind AI, which was also mentioned, we need to make sure that what we develop is human-centric, that it also keeps in mind of the interests of the workers, of the skills of the people. And I think that particularly here in Kosovo, while you have the youngest population, this is something which would be very also crucial to be developed. Now, coming to a broader perspective, as coming from the European Commission, you can imagine that this is something that I have in mind. We live in a context that has become particularly complex in the past years. Following the COVID pandemic, then the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the continuous war there, it has compounded already burning challenges ahead of us in terms of ensuring green and digital transitions and also to secure Europe's long-term prosperity. And against this backdrop, the importance of research and innovation has never been greater. We need new technologies. We need new solutions that can be quickly also rolled out to be put into the markets. We need the companies that can grow, that can also create the necessary critical mass to ensure that in Europe, with all our partners, we meet this challenging context with guarantees of success. And in order to do so, we really need to maximize the potential of innovation and all the actions that we are already shaping our lives. And we have never had the ever-growing impact, not only in the Western Balkans, in the EU and also globally. This is why we launched in this region the Western Balkan Agenda for Innovation, Research, Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, bringing all these sectors together with the Western Balkan leaders at Brdo Summit in 2021. And now, less than 2 years since then, we already see very clear changes on the ground, the progress on the ground. And as we focus today in this session on innovation, let me also focus on innovation. Driven by the triangle of education and research and their enabling infrastructures, innovation is key to address the green and digital transition. Without innovation, we won't be able to achieve that. And as said, here in Kosovo, with the youngest population in Europe, the potential here is greatest. Now let me mention the 3 elements of the triangle where we've together have been already progressing a lot. First, there is Erasmus Plus program, which is a crucial tool to promote digital skills in the economies. And the program's digital opportunity trainship are an excellent vehicles to develop the advanced digital skills of students, apprentices, and teachers. With Horizon Europe, we have the world's largest research and innovation program, which is fully opened to all Western Balkan partners in equal terms with the EU participants. And it has proved to be a major factor in support of the long-term stabilization of the economy, leading to competitiveness, growth, jobs, and cohesion, everything that would be needed here. We are joining forces, also linking tech transfer centers, setting up science and technology parks, connecting research infrastructures. And this network is guided by the smart specialization strategies. I know that it's already in the concluding phases, also here in Kosovo, which gives the opportunity to join the forces on the industrial side. And you mentioned some of the key sectors, but also bringing the research and innovation dimension to that. So we've seen already a number of positive elements in the Western Balkans over the past 12 months, as I've said. Namely, new research and innovation strategies have been put in place, an increase of national funds, coordinated regional efforts, and what's most important, also advancement in developing and implementing smart specialization, as I said. Strong cooperation with the Western Balkans is a success story also for association to Horizon Europe. In the past program, in Horizon 2020, you as a region reached 160 million euro competitively gained grants by more than 900 researchers and innovators. Now, in the course of the 2 first years, you've actually on the way to overpass that. Namely, the first year, 2021, was the first performing year ever for the Western Balkans, and actually the 2022 even better. Namely, during the first 2 years, already you've reached more than half of the previous program, 7 years program. This shows that Western Balkans have fully arrived in the European research area. We can see that support to research and innovation is a priority. There are updated strategies and a collection of research innovation indicators and statistics is also underway. Networking with European partners via cost and Eureka is also very much progressing. With our new European innovation agenda and its focus on skills development, it also fully embraces Western Balkans. I also know that the law on innovation is in the pipeline, under preparation, and you can really get some inspiration from the European innovation agenda. And you have also the countries from where you can take best practices. Well, I know in this room there are a lot of those coming from Austria, but also from other regions. Well, my home country, Estonia, is actually has the highest number of unicorns and startups per population. I guess it's also the country where the investments by unicorn in research and innovation are bigger than the national funding, which is some 13,000 euros per person on an annual basis, which I think is also the source that you can foresee also here in this region for the future. We are pushing for really impactful results in the whole region, here in Kosovo, but in the Western Balkans in general, with our agenda. This has been a comprehensive long-term strategy for cooperation with the Western Balkans. And through this increased investments, the agenda and the joint actions contribute to boost the region's economic but also societal development, because a rising tide floats all the boats. Many thanks for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Razzo. Brussels is such a key issue. The European Commission is such a key body for anybody looking at the enlargement, the eventual continued enlargement of the European Union. And the regulatory frameworks that are adopted there are meant to be of assistance to not only the countries in the EU, but those that aspire to membership. Well, we told you earlier that the Vienna Economic Forum is an international organization, an international economic organization. And that is demonstrated by the people that we have up here on the stage at the moment. We also very proudly say that we are an Austrian organization, originally Austrian, working for 20 years in Vienna, and the first head of the Economic Forum, the Vienna Economic Forum, was the former Vice Chancellor, the former Vice Prime Minister of Austria, Erhard Busek, the past Erhard Busek. So it has a very Austrian connotation. And the next people that I would like to call upon represent, I think, the top industries, the top companies, the top enterprises, corporations in the state of Austria. Austria is actually, as I understand it, the fourth largest investor in Kosovo, after three others, and we are working hard to make sure that it's number 3 or number 2 in the coming years. I would like to, first of all, introduce Mr. Stefan Kren, who is the Secretary-General of Novomatic in Austria, and is also speaking as a representative of our Vice President, the Vice President of the Vienna Economic Forum. He's a former Director of Marketing and Communications at Novomatic. Novomatic is one of the largest companies in the world that deals with gaming technology and manufactures gaming technology. They export to 100 countries, more than 100 countries. They have their own locations in more than 50 countries. And I'm very proud to say that Novomatic has been from the very beginning a very long-time partner and solid partner of the Vienna Economic Forum. Stefan Kren, please.
Thank you so much. Dear Minister Haidari, dear Excellencies from politics and diplomacy, dear ladies and gentlemen, and last but not least, dear Mr. Ambassador President Jackovich, thank you very much for your kind words. You did nearly my whole presentation, but it's good to see that you know so many things about our company. And also Elena KIRTCHEVA, Ambassador KIRTCHEVA, many thanks for the invitation and congratulations for the organization of this great event. Well, perfect. And there's also the menu. Well, it's a great honor to stay here and to present you our company, and let me start by giving you a brief overview of Novomatic. Here we are. Well, Novomatic was founded 43 years ago, in 1980, by Professor Graf. Nowadays, you would say like a startup company. There were only 3 employees, the founder and 2 friends. Nowadays, we are the European leading technology company in terms of gambling high-tech equipment and one of the 3 world biggest gaming technology companies. This great success is based for sure on our dual business model. What does this mean? This means on the one hand, gaming operations. We are one of the biggest operators of gaming facilities, casinos, street market operations, sport betting outlets, bingo halls, etc., name it, more than 2,100 worldwide. But that's only one side of the coin. On the other hand, we are also one of the leading gaming technology companies. What does this mean? This means we develop ourselves via several R&D centers worldwide, manufacture and sell high-tech gaming equipment in more than 100 countries worldwide. We are a technology leader, which is also highlighted by holding more than 5,000 intellectual property rights. Well, figures, I don't want to bore you. Maybe you look on the right side of the chart, you will see the split between gaming technology and gaming operations, and you see that it's quite balanced. But even more interest probably for the south and eastern region is the split of our revenues. And there you can see that the region of Central Eastern Europe, where also the Kosovo belongs to, is the second important region for us. However, and this is probably where I can follow the speakers before, the basis of this success is without doubt our employees. And worldwide, it's nearly 24,000 employees that work for Novomatic. In Austria, it's more than 3,000, and then at our headquarters in Lower Austria, it's more than 1,000. And like Professor Perk said in her very interesting speech, it's all about well-educated, and I would add also motivated employees that are the basis of success. And this is something we strongly feel in the region of CEE. We are nearly in all Eastern and South European countries operating, and this is really what we find out. There is a high level of education, but also of motivation. And that's in these days is at least as important. Well, this was also topic today. It's the ESG, the environmental social governance. Sorry, I skipped through 2 charts because I don't want to bore you. That's something that was one of the key success factors for Novomatic from the very beginning. You all know, and in the morning session, this also has been the topic. ESG has come to stay. There's a lot of regulation coming from the European Union. All the representatives of the companies, I'm sure they know the challenges with the non-financial reporting, the mandatory non-financial reporting, and so on. And we take this very serious. Of course, next to this environmental, governance and social, factors for a gambling company, there's one part of the ESG that's very important, and that's the part of responsible gaming. Yeah, we know we are a sensitive business. It's a lot of player and youth protection, and this is exactly where we do a lot, and we are very proud that we are the first European gaming company that could receive the G4 player protection standards. That's the strictest standard in the world, with regular audits, with independent auditors, and this shows that we do a lot of efforts in this region, in this sector, because for us it's important that our customers are health customers. We don't need problems there, and we invest a lot of money also in this direction. Well, finally, let me point out our 4 key success factors. That's on the one hand, gaming operations. Probably some of you know our umbrella brand, Admiral. That's the brand for most of our operations worldwide. As I said, more than 2,100 gaming venues. You can imagine that's quite interesting to spread out with this strategy under one brand. And, well, the other part is gaming technology. We are the leading manufacturer, for example, in the field of video lottery terminals. Why do I mention this? Because this has a lot to do with technology. Because of this strong segment, we are real innovators. We are no imitators. So what does this mean? This means that every year we bring out, for example, more than 200 new games developed by our own game developers. We bring out new cabinets, new technologies. Probably that's the third point, the gaming systems. When you think about the casino, you also have to think about the systems behind to manage that casino. We develop all these systems, and probably let me highlight one section. We have an own company that's dealing with biometric authentication systems. This means that you only can enter, for example, a casino, or only can operate a gaming machine with your fingerprint or iris scan. Imagine you can withdraw money with your fingerprint. This has a lot of to do with player protection, because you can't give your finger to another person. Yeah? So you can, for example, make sure that minors are not able to play, and so on. So we invest a lot in searching and innovating these technologies. And last but not least, I mentioned it, is the gaming content. In our industry, we say content is king, and yeah, we have more than 1,000 in-house game developers, by the way, also a lot in the central southern region. We need a lot of employees. We need a lot of well-employed, educated employees who speak several languages, and this is something probably we can find here in this region, and we are searching for. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your attention, and, well, I give back to Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stefan Kren. Oh, sorry. I've always wanted to know more about the casino industry, but I didn't get any inside information. Maybe next time. I would like to introduce someone who actually is already in business here in Kosovo and has been in the region for quite some time. Mr. Wolfgang SCHAFFER. He is a world-renowned expert from Austria and a member of the Vienna Economic Forum. He's got 30 years experience in the field of software, IT, management, all sorts of related things. He is the CEO and or co-owner of many different companies. One of them is right here in Kosovo, BIT Kosovo, which was formed in 2016, I believe. And he's developed projects that have been very useful for the Ministry of Education here in Kosovo and the Ministry of Education in Albania. Wolfgang SCHAFFER, please.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Ambassador Jackovich, dear Minister Hadiari, dear Excellencies, dear ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure for me to present you our company and our projects, what we implement during the last, let's say, 20, 25, 30 years. So AAA Austria is the, okay, it works. AAA Austria is the company where I'm presenting here today. That's one of our companies in the group of EEE. So let me check how it works. Okay, this is, okay, thanks. EEE Group is a group of different kind of companies and it is separated in the different segments. So one is BIT Media. It is responsible for all education programs, education systems. So we are a software company and create a different kind of education software. So as a learning management system, also for administration for schools and so on. MIT is our company group for business to business for companies. So we are also create e-learning content, learning management system for the companies. It's completely different to the schools. And then we have a special kind of new company. It's a startup. It's Provento. It's also in Austria and in Germany active. And we create software solutions for safety, security, IT security, GDP, and whatever. And all of that will be combined in our EEE Austria. That's the international development of all these products, what we create in Austria. We translated it in the language of the countries where we deliver it. And EEE Austria is the head, and we have branches in BIT Albania, in Tirana, BIT Kosovo, as mentioned here in Prishtina, and also one company, they deliver us with software employees. It's BIT Ukraine. It's not so easy right now. And especially one non-profit organization, DualVet, where we implement vocational training systems in different countries. So as I explained, education and training is our main focus. So we produce different kind of software products together with e-solutions to implement all these products in the on the client side and also on the government side. So all these products we also implemented in Austria for the Ministry of Education. So they are our biggest partner for education technology. And we equip since 2014 Kosovo, Albania, Laos, and now Indonesia with education systems, different kind of education systems. So a lot of schools are using our systems in their own language. So we also translated all the software in Albanian language, or now in Bahasa for Indonesia. And additionally, we consulting and supporting all these software products after end of the project, if the ministries want to support. That's the overview of our products. So as you can see, a different kind of brands what we deliver. A lot of them are more than, let's say, 15, 20 years on the market. So Socrates is an EMIS system, CITOS is an e-learning system, and there are a lot of new components, also apps for communication between the parents and the teacher, and so on. And our focus is companies and public organizations, especially education providers. So they are benefiting these systems for their clients, for the users. So we are not in the end user market, we only do our business with government and with companies. Especially for this day today, I focused a little bit on the two most important parts from our point of view, what is needed in the field of education. One is Austria has a very, very long experience in the field of vocational training. So as you know, Austria, Germany and Switzerland are the main countries of integrated dual education. What means dual education? That combines the classic training on in the school and training on the job and practice at the company. And that is a very successful model what we are using since more than 200 years in Austria. And we try to export this model in different kind of variants, because in some countries it is very easy to implement such a solution, because also the companies are ready to take over this idea. In some countries it is very, very complicated. Maybe the education ministry is able to implement it, but not the companies. So we have to make a lot of storytelling, of give them the idea of the impact of dual education if they implement it in the country. And we also have done some small things here in Kosovo some years ago to implement the first step of vocational training, and now we want to make the next step, as Madam Minister also explained, for the Education Ministry to implement vocational training in Kosovo as we have done it in Austria. So as you know, the technical school, the technical high school in Austria is very famous. There is one in Albania, in Sh.A, I think, is one of these schools, and that is an idea what we also want to support Kosovo to implement such a school here, because that is one of Austria's success factors in the tourism, in the technical region, and therefore I can only ask to support us that we can implement such a project. And digitalization is the second part of the big change in the education. And mainly, friendly speaking, I think the most important part is to train the digital skills for the teacher. So that is the first step, because now the young people are digital natives, they already know how to use it, but the teacher are not fit. And therefore, it's also in Austria, it's not only here. In every country it's the same. We have to train the teacher with digital skills to give them the possibility to train the students now as it is sensible. So with the digital tools, with homework, as we learned now from COVID-19, that all the students sit alone at home, so they have to work with teachers online, and nobody was prepared to do it. And I think that is the main focus what we should do in the next years all over Europe. Yes, of course, that's the products what we and the projects what we deliver. As you can see here, in different kind of countries, we do the evaluation there, then the integration, the implementation, and if possible also the support for the next years. So thank you very much, and Parlamentariet.
Thank you very much, Mr. SCHAFFER. I think we can all agree that vocational training, particularly, and the focus on digitalization and education, focus on education in general is so very important in this region, and particularly in Kosovo with its rather youthful population, as we heard earlier. Dr. Georg Serenci comes to us also from Austria. Also in the digital sector, but perhaps in a little bit different manner, has a long and distinguished career in telecommunications, in the regulatory side of things, cybersecurity, technology. For more than 10 years, he was the director of the Regulatory Authority of Telecommunications of Austria, of the state of Austria for more than 10 years. And he chaired the body of European regulators for electronic communications. He's on many boards in Austria and internationally, dealing with telecommunications and the all-important subject of cybersecurity. And he's a member of the Vienna Economic Forum. Dr. Serenci, please. One thing I would like to start off with, if you don't mind, is the question of arbitration. Yes. Because arbitration is universally done, in the United States it's done when there's a business and a government that is in dispute, or two businesses or whatever, or an international organization. But it seems to be rarely used in Kosovo, even though the framework for it exists legally. Yeah. Perhaps you can tell us more about that.
Good afternoon. Excellencies, ministers, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to be here, and I'm grateful for the Vienna Economic Forum to have me here. Ambassador Jackovich already alluded to, arbitration is an important tool, and I understood from many of the introductory statements today morning that foreign investment is, of course, an important thing for Kosovo and many other countries as well. And when it comes to foreign investment, not everything goes smooth. Sometimes disputes are arising from investments, and that's where international arbitration kicks in, whether it's state disputes or whether it's commercial disputes. So that's the wider context what I would like to start with. So let me start by introducing myself and my professional background. I have a PhD in nuclear physics. I did research work in this field, and then went on to industrial research and development, solar energy, aerospace, telecommunications. I worked for an American strategy consulting firm, and as Ambassador Jackovich already mentioned, I was more than a decade the head of the Austrian telecommunications regulator. I was chair and vice chair of BEREC, the body of European regulators for electronic communication. And most importantly, since beginning of 2014, I'm running my own advisory boutique, and one of the focus areas is conflict resolution between telecom companies and regulators. Another is strategic positioning of companies within a specific regulatory environment. So why regulatory expertise matters? Many international arbitration cases are about the international investor complaining that he was not treated in a fair manner, not treated in the same way as the domestic investor. And the assessment of regulatory decisions are a key factor in this context because they require hands-on experience, how things are working, how things are put together. So, and knowing the bolts and nuts of regulation is an important prerequisite for doing this. And to give you one example, an international investor complains that the domestic investor was able to obtain permits more easily or more favorably to deploy the communications network or to gain access to existing infrastructure at preferential terms. And what's the value added I can bring to the table if such conflict occurs? So I respond to one of the key questions in international arbitration when the arbitrator asks, as a regulator, how would you have ruled on this issue? That's the important and that's the key question which kicks in here. And my response is based on three things. First of all, my hands-on regulatory experience on both national level in Europe and international level, my experience as a regulatory and competition advisor in Europe, North America, Middle East, after my tenure as a regulator, and my broad industrial and consulting experience. So how that works in practice? I'm not doing such things alone. It's normally an arbitration case requires many different expertises, which are all coming together here. And one of the most important things in that case are so-called claim valuation. So experts which are able to, so-called quantum experts, which are able to quantify the economic damage which has been created or which occurs through this conflict, needs to be evaluated. So I'm cooperating with well-established law firms, economic consultancies, and in such a cooperation, I'm offering my industry and regulatory experience. So if it's needed, follow-up meetings can be arranged with interested parties in Kosovo to explore opportunities, clarify roles, and agree on next steps. I'm not sure if slides will be shared afterwards. If yes, yeah, I see. I see nodding heads here. This is a list of qualification which gives you some more guidance and insights in what I'm working on and my background and my history, so to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Serenci. Yes, the slides will be made available and all the information on them will be made available to people in various ways. So don't worry about that, and I hope that there is great interest in what you do and what you offer, which is rather important in the world of business and in the world of arbitration. Dr. Eric Sidney Kreuer has since 2014 been the Director of Business Development and International Relations at a very, very important company in Austria, Kapsch, the Kapsch company, Kapsch, Austria. It's like Novomatic, perhaps. It's a family company, at least originally. In 1892 was formed in Vienna. It deals with traffic control and transportation solutions. It's very well known in Austria, very well known in Eastern Europe and in Southeastern Europe. And it has projects in many countries, 50 countries, subsidiaries in many of these countries. But if Dr. Kreuer would allow, I would also tell you that he is a man really of the new century, I would say, because he is very active very broadly. He is well, for many years, he was the international secretary of the Austrian People's Party. And he's written about the Habsburg dynasty. He's written published articles about the Habsburgs. And you might say, oh, you mean the Habsburgs of the 15th century, 16th century? No. He's written about the Habsburgs in the 20th century and their role in Austria, their role in Central Europe, and their role in international affairs. Dr. Kreuer.
Well, a very good afternoon to all of you. Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for these very kind words. Madam Minister, Madam Ambassador, it's a great honor and pleasure for me to be here and to say a few words about my company and about the kind of business which we are engaged, have been engaged for a long time, and with a worldwide experience active. Perhaps a few words before. It is all about mobility, guaranteeing, safeguarding the development of infrastructure. Mobility and infrastructure are the prerequisites of economic, social, and educational development and growth. We need certain conditions for that, of course, which are functioning operational road networks, regional, national, and international connections, and indeed transnational road corridors. In this region of the world, these are the international corridors number 10, 8, and number 5. Infrastructure, that is about construction, maintenance, operation, and financing. And this can be done, and is broadly done, by means of electronic traffic management, surveillance, mission-critical intervention in the traffic flow, the implementation of dynamic systems and system integration in a holistic approach. Financing can, not entirely, but mainly be achieved by electronic toll collection and congestion charging. All this results in open roads, in CO2 emission reduction schemes, congestion prevention, and indeed a good interconnection with public transport. Also, a time-critical intervention and a rapid intervention if it proves necessary by emergency services such as police, fire brigade, ambulance, and so on. And of course, directing traffic flow for the better and the more efficient of functioning of our world. Now, CAPS Trafficom has been in this business for a long, long time. As Ambassador Jackovich has already said, the company was founded more than 130 years ago. For a long time, well, ever since, we've been at the spearhead of innovation and technological progress. The company deals with, I think we can see it here, yes, so traffic management in the broader sense of the word. This is, for example, multi-lane free-flow tolling. That means traffic can pass on motorways or whichever roads to be surveilled and charged, and without reducing speed, without having to do any sort of stop-and-go traffic, just by passing through, the toll can be collected. At the same time, other features can also be checked or charged or just controlled, whatever is needed, such as emissions, such as weight, whether the truck, the lorry, is overweight, for example, and these sort of things. At the same time, traffic management in cities, very important. Traffic congestion is very unhealthy for the environment, but also costs the economy dearly. In Vienna alone, billions of euros are lost every year for the economy, lost to the economy by traffic jams. So all of this can be done in a modern, integrated, systematic and holistic way. And CAPS has been doing this for a long time. We are active in, as Mr. Ambassador said, in 50 countries around the world with more than 400 projects at the moment. We have big market shares in the US, in Canada, in Australia, New Zealand, practically all European countries, South Africa, and we are now also extending into the Far East. Let me just show you a few figures here. How do you press this? Just any key or? The right one. Very well. Yes, just an example of our experience around the world. We also do projects such as operating, maintaining, and also controlling tunnels, bridges, motorways, as I have said. Just a little bit of our experience. So it is all about, as I started with, all about making traffic safer, more sustainable, more calculable, controllable, and indeed more profitable for governments, regions, and for the benefit of all the people using it. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kreuer. We don't have traffic jams in Prishtina. Well, yes, we do. We have traffic jams everywhere, of course, even in Prishtina, especially in Prishtina, as I've noticed. And at any rate, KAPSCHA is a foremost Austrian company, and one that is more and more active in the region and can be active here, I think, at some point in the future. You know, I described this part of the panel as being the Austrian part of the panel. And I hope Dr. Haiziri forgives me for that. But you know, in many ways, we think of him as, well, being Austrian and coming from Austria. That's because he spent so much time there. He was educated there. He had very high positions in the European operations for quality in Austria. He decided to come back to Kosovo, some 20 years ago. He had a very successful career in Austria, in Central Europe. Could have stayed there very successfully, but is one of the many people, I must say, but in his case very prominent, who has come back to Kosovo to make a grand contribution to his country. The formation, in his case, of the University for Business and Technology, opened in 2003, and ever since that time has graduated over 10,000 people. And many of them are out in Kosovar society operating today. He is known to all of you from Kosovo, I'm sure, very active with many publications, many awards, many association memberships. Dr. Edmund Haiziri, please.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Pleasure to be here, dear panelists, dear Minister, dear colleagues. Thank you for organizing this event, and very pleasure to be here in this best practice from different Austrian and regional companies and institutions. Really very nice, very good feeling. Reflecting for many years, as Ambassador said, in 90s we have the only, let's say, opportunity to continue our study was Austria. Austria and Dr. Busek, in this time as a minister, he started to recognize our degrees, which we gained here in a so-called private houses. It was not private, it was officially regular, but not in physical places. So the first time, Austria offered us this a place for continuing education, and I used this opportunity to do my study there. I do my PhD and stay there and work in different industries and Siemens and other places, and really you get a lot of things. But in this case, being, let's say, interested in the area of system engineering, system design, complex system design, intelligent systems, management science, including entrepreneurship, I said being a professor without designing something and making something happen, maybe for students will not be accepted. I cannot tell them anything. So, and I said maybe it would be nice to build a system somewhere and maybe show my entrepreneurship spirit and try to see what will happen and get some behavior in this component. So this way, in this question, I think Kosovo was a very good place to do such a things. First, coming from Kosovo, and the secondly, Kosovo as a green field. You know, you can build a system in Kosovo, and building a system is much more easy rather than re-engineering a system. So in this case, it was quite a good momentum here. A lot of needs, less competition, and I think very open for new things, new competences and new technologies and so on. So, and I started in 2000 with UBT. So in this case, working very hard in this 22 years and starting from scratch, kind of organic growth. We called organic growth because we didn't get anything outside support, but starting from 1 and 2 and 3. Today we have 1,400 full-time staff. Because of university, we are talking for the institution, so we have more than 12,000 students, active students. But what we wanted to do through the system design, the idea is to see this and implement this best practice worldwide on let's say, transition countries. So the main proposition was, can you build a new system based on the international European standard best practice in transition countries? And if yes, how much impact can make this system in society, in economical aspect, and so on? And this question is rising and following me for more than 20 years to see what are the benefits, what are the impacts, and moving forward on this part. Yeah, I mean this is the main question we try to do, and I think this question is still valid because the complexity is increasing very much in different perspectives and moving forward. So today we are trying to bring another type of model of education because when you see from statistics, let's say the needs for talents and competent people are much higher than the opportunity to offer such a competences from the education system. So I think we have to change something. It's not easy. Always the gap is larger and larger, and you see and you feel, and we feel every day. So we thought maybe we can interact in another way because we are a non-state university or system, so we can maybe interact more flexible to look what does mean, for example, a smart university, a smart city. And I'm very fond of this innovation-based ecosystem. I think living in so-called convergence revolution today, I am a big believer on interaction between stakeholders, a shared vision, cooperative point between, and have a win-win situation. And the complexity is so high that I think we cannot do alone. So you have to cooperate, you have to coordinate, and then if you create a framework of innovation-based ecosystem, I think we can reach some impacts, and we can see what happen. And so what we are doing here is to create a small case, place-based innovation ecosystem where you can interpret the university as a smart city, a physical space where you have all kind of let's say life functions there, living area, healthcare area, infrastructure, factories, education, and so on. And then putting with components of technology, with 5G and with Internet of Things and cyber and supercomputer data center, and then mix it. And of course, the focus is to measure the sustainable development, because I think in the next year still, sustainable development is a framework which everybody is accepted, makes sense. We are thinking that this is the future. And in this component, smart, sustainable, innovation-based ecosystem with a much let's say, flavor of entrepreneurship is the model that UBT is trying to provide here in Kosovo, and this is the way how we are trying to interfere. You see the areas of transdisciplinarity, excellence, internationalization, and many other aspects. How is today UBT ecosystem look like? Of course, the core component of ecosystem is made from education system, because the main purpose of education, we have almost more than 150 accredited majors, so we are covering, let's say, the entire disciplines of life in one place, not more only on university level, but also on high school, professional school, personal certification, lifelong, so a vertical and horizontal education ecosystem. This is the base where we started to build the part. Then you know that university needs labs, and we have to build for every school and every department lab, so we have now almost 300 labs in one place. So it's one place with 300 research labs that you can find in 15 minutes walk. And then we thought companies we cannot complete. So we started to establish spin-offs and companies. So we have now in this area almost 80 different self-sustained industrial-based companies in a small scale. So everything is small scale because we think we are a small country. We have to get more competence in small scales. And I think the entire Vienna Economic Forum region is a small scale. So I think this is the interaction how we are trying to do. Being this component, I think we have quite then a good opportunity to have a win-win situation between stakeholders, students, industry, government, and many other aspects. So this is the ecosystem. In this ecosystem, we have put a different competence. I'm not talking too much here because, but covering the classroom 2.0, having fully digitalization because we wanted to see this best practice on digitalization. This is a World Bank map. And the logos are to show that we have implement any kind of technology for education here to try to see what is inside, what are the benefits. And then by the end, we have worked very much in the last years on Classroom 3.0, so-called virtual, augmented reality, and artificial intelligence. I think this can give some answer to increase the speed of competences, and we are trying to see this part here at UBT. And then we finish this, and the physical space, which is already 90% ready now, and we plan to complete in 2025, and have a small 15 minutes walk city where you can have, let's say, an interaction of different functions and different elements. As I said, we cannot ignore the technology. For this reason, we have implemented, let's say, the latest technology, the 5G campus. This is the first 5G campus in the region of Western Balkan and Adria region, and then putting the entire additional components that you can talk about smart systems, you can talk about convergence components, and so on. So this is what we try to, so a place where you can have an incubation, an experimentation, knowledge gaining, and I think we will be able to interfere with different issues that we are attaching today on the part. So as a interacting with the trends in technology and business, because this is the point. What does mean smart? What does mean this and this? So I think now we are able to interfere and work very hard in this part. Based on this framework, we have designed and developed almost 30 different innovation-based centers or systems, we called, within this place. And these systems can be a kind of innovation ecosystem within a smart, sustainable innovation ecosystem. I will not go to list it because we have a few time, but just to show you that the framework innovation ecosystem interfere and give you a lot of opportunities for different requests that we have today in the world. What very much important for Kosovo is as a job creation. And this small-scale place-based innovation ecosystem, for example, 2021 has generated 1,000 new jobs, only in 1 year. So it shows that if you have a good harmonization and kind of innovation and technology-based ecosystem, I think there is a volume for growth, for competitiveness, for quality of life, and so on. And I think when we talk on this small scale, we can talk as on the national level in small scale, and then we can talk entire region in small scale. So this is what we are thinking of system of systems, ecosystem of ecosystems, and I think this could be maybe something we can interfere. And now we are also trying to get some awards, some confirmation international to see it makes sense, this ecosystem. You see some, for example, in the fourth industrial revolution, we are the #1 university in Europe for this, based on the WURI ranking. In the impact ranking, which is covering from time education in impact sustainable development, 2020 we are still the best university in the region. And in positive impact rating, I think Dean knows this rankings, we get the top places, first place We did also in the business view from the EFQM. We get this year the award, the global award as the best company or organization worldwide. So means for us as a Kosovars is to confirm that we can also do some good things based on the best practice. And I think this is as a motivation for the region that we should not wait for being as a failure, but I think there is a very good time in this convergence revolution to make a breakthrough and interact with the state-of-the-art technology. And being UBT as the largest ICT school in the Balkan, I think create as for Kosovo a very good impact on being active in technology. The entire Kosovo has a kind of, let's say, framework for digitalization, and I think there is a very good precondition to move forward. The impacts we are measuring are here, so we are not measuring more the impacts of university only on how many students we get and jobs and so on. We have trying to have a direct link or indirect link with the macro level indicators, and this is what we are trying to do, and we see that there is a very good interlinked with this innovation small scale ecosystems. Cooperation is a must. A regional cooperation is a must, because we are a small country, we are a small region, and of course we are working very hard, very proactive, very hard to cooperate with all kinds of countries and institutions who are member of the Vienna Economic Forum. We have double degrees, we have joint degrees, we have joint research, we do different parts, and I think this creates a very good interlinked in regional level, and linking our ecosystem with all the ecosystems from companies, from institutions, so that we can have a message, this global alliance for global challenges, which I think today we are not working just for Kosovo. We have a lot of different impacts as on a global level, especially in this innovation and technology aspect. So thank you very much for your time.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to rob you of the opportunity to ask questions or to have a discussion. I'm sorry. On the other hand, I did say at the beginning that we would try to end early, or, well, we're ending kind of early or on time. I do want to say just a few words, if you will allow me at the end, and that is to once again tell you how proud we are at the Vienna Economic Forum of our relationship with Kosovo, with the Republic of Kosovo. How grateful we are to the current government, Minister Haidari, and your colleagues in the wonderful hospitality that you've extended to us and to the grand organization of this event. It is the second time that we're doing something in Kosovo. I'm sure it will not be the last. We look forward to continuing the relationship. It's one of the 13 countries that is a member state of the Vienna Economic Forum, and we're very proud about that. We will continue to do our work and continue to support you in Kosovo as you continue on your path, as I have said earlier, to full membership in the European Union and Euro-Atlantic institutions. I do want to thank Raiffeisen Bank and also Sigma Vienna Insurance, because that is the Kosovo subsidiary of the Vienna Insurance Group, one of the newest members of the Vienna Economic Forum. I want to thank them for their fine support as well. You do have an opportunity, of course, to continue questions and discussions. Out in the hallway, we have refreshments. I think we have something out there. And so please partake. For me personally, it has been a great honor to be once again in Kosovo and to see the great development of the Republic of Kosovo and the achievements of the citizens of Kosovo. Thank you very much.
Vienna Economic Forum was founded in 2004 with the aim to promote